Welcome, welcome, you delightful delinquents. It is I, Papa Jaffe. Good to see everybody. Today's stream is not a gabbing of games. Those I'm trying to make on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This is just, we'll do things on Tuesdays and Thursdays that are kind of random. On Tuesday, we did some trailer watches with members. Today, it's just kind of a live stream, shoot the shit, chat, whatever you guys want to talk about. There, could be games, could be entertainment, could be personal shit, could be politics, blah, 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 blah. So we'll just talk, see where it goes. Jaffe, have you tried Pokemon Pocket? Says Fuzznuts. I have not tried that. I downloaded it the other night, and I was kind of in the headspace to get into it, and then they were doing maintenance on it, and I haven't gone back yet. Then I've been hearing a lot of people talking about how it's a lot of microtransactions and you're always chasing cards and it's might be pay to win, and I've kind of lost my interest in it lately. I'm going to tell you something. I played here's my take on this, because Monday we are seeing the Game Award nominations for Keeley's show, and I think that's great. I'm looking forward to it. I'll get up, I'll stream it, I'll watch the show, I'll stream the show. But lately, like maybe in the last 2 weeks, I have come across a couple of new games that are so good in the indie space. And I'm like, these will not even be mentioned at the Game Awards. And part of it is because they don't do mostly indie games unless they happen to be some indie darling. For whatever reason, one becomes an indie darling. You're an indie darling. Wink, wink. And the other reason is, they barely have time to play any of this shit, right? And so I just think, like, from time to time I'll do an award show, but I'm going to be doing one this year, but it's going to be in March. I think the idea that people can be expected to play all the games. I mean, that's really what it goes to show you, that people, and maybe it's like, yeah, Jaffe, we know that, but nobody really cares about what the actual game of the year is, because if they did, then they would do a better job of making sure that the people who are voting and nominating these games actually play a lot of the games that need to be played. And I understand there's a nominating process and this and that and the other, but the fact is, look, when I was on a nominating committee for DICE, which is the industry award, I didn't get a chance to play everything. No one did. And then there weren't even near as many games. I played a game last night called, I think it's called, what is this thing called? It was on Steam. And it's kind of a horror game. It's called While We Wait Here. And it is one of the best games I have played in a very long time. It is insanely well done and insanely good. And I don't see the mainstream press talking about it. I guarantee you there won't be anyone talking about it come Monday with the nominees. I could be wrong. I'll be happy to be wrong. But you can't play that game and at least go, okay, we should consider it as a viable candidate. They're not playing the game. So I don't know why, when a lot of people get online and they bitch about this is game of the year, or the one I hear a lot is, remakes and remasters shouldn't be nominated for game of the year. I'm like, bitch, sure, maybe not, but that's the hill you're dying on. How about the fact that most people who vote and nominate don't even play the goddamn things, or at least most of them? What the fuck? What in the goddamn fuck? I don't get it. So anyway, that's on my mind, because I've been playing some really good games, man. Today there's a game out called Sorry We're Closed. The demo was fantastic. I think it's sitting at an 85 on Metacritic. No one's playing that game. I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to do well. I'm sure it'll do real well for its budget, but it's disturbing how poorly represented the art form is at the end of the year by a lot of these mainstream awards. A lot of them say, oh, we want to be the Oscars of games. Okay, well, the Oscars usually get shat upon by a lot of people because they're always nominating these movies most people aren't going to go see because they're too arty-farty. Video games have the opposite problem. It's really, and then they're like, oh, well, we have an indie category. No, you shut up. An indie category is stupid. There should be no distinction. It's a game. It's the art form. Is it like what is the newest Mission Impossible movie, which I love those movies? Is that somehow not able to go up against a small independent art film made by somebody with a very singular vision? No, they're movies, man. They're movies. Jacob Martin says Baltro should be nominated for Game of the Year. Yeah, and it probably will be, but that's kind of like the Attaboy Award. It's like, see, we got an indie in there. It's like, it's gross, man. Again, as a defender and a lover and a supporter of the art form of games above all else, it's gross. It's like, oh, that's our token indie game that everybody can talk about. That it's not even that these journalists are idiots. It's just they're busy. They don't have time to play a lot of these fucking games. There's just too many of them. There's just way too many of them. Do you think that all of us gamers make certain assumptions when looking at a game without playing, and we are wrong in those assumptions? Many games seem to evoke similar feelings. That's Crumnass. I think it depends on the game. Some games have earned that response where it's like, oh, this is pretty much this kind of game, and it is. But other games, I think, get judged unfairly, and people miss out on them. Perspective is one of the things. Like there's a great company who made a couple of games. Now they're out of business, called Team Me. They put out Shadow Gambit last year. The year before that, they put out Desperados 3, which is one of the best written games of the year, of numerous years. Nobody talked about it. Do you think that was mentioned in the best writing? No, it was a fucking big budget 3D action game that had a writer's room and a showrunner and anything else that you want to throw into the video game making process that makes them feel like they're big boys and actually doing, professional Hollywood work. And that's what got nominated. And I'm like, are you serious? Desperados 3 literally had the theme of the game tied into the only way you could complete the game and beat the boss was you had to understand and then execute gameplay that was reflective of the actual theme of the writing of Desperados 3. That is video game writing, but I'm just tired of it. I'm fucking tired of it. Frankly, I'm tired of people acting like, you know what, you don't get to sit at the table. Sorry. You don't get to, fuck you. Don't get to see the best writing. Yeah, fuck you. You wouldn't know good video game. I mean, I'm mad all of a sudden. I think because I'm playing these games like While We Wait Here or Sorry We're Closed. And I know good and well people aren't going to be talking about these fucking games. And it pisses me off. It pisses me off. I will fuck turkey on the table and make you eat it on Thanksgiving, says Hawkins. I mean, you're welcome to try. You're welcome to try. But you have no idea who will be sitting around my Thanksgiving table this year. They will cut you, and they will cut you poorly, which will mean it will hurt. Well, God of War says, Da Vinci ever get back the best director back? How would you write them out of a corner? I'd make the whole Norse saga a dream. Well, I saw Hip Hop Gamer on today, and I don't have any, it's not like Sony Santa Monica calls me, not that they need to or owe me. I don't expect anything from them, but I haven't heard this. But I saw him saying that his scoop is that the next God of War, the mainstream God of War, is going to be young Kratos. Now, whether that's like young Sheldon and he's 10, or it means they're going back to the Greek days with him being, the years between when he got the power from Ares and when he accidentally killed his family, I have no idea. But I think I think that's smart. I think you got to do something, in my opinion. If it were me, I would be like, dude, I don't just keep rolling with the current. Don't just keep rolling with the current time period, because I think people are going to be bored of it. Zach says, Jaffe, what kind of obstacles did you face as a game developer struggling with ADD? I didn't face any obstacles at all. The people who had to work with me faced a shit ton of obstacles, and I regret that, but I didn't know I had ADD. And so the way it manifested was, how do I get rid of this image here? I don't want that to be on stream anymore. I want that to go away now. Double click. Hide. There we go. The way it manifested was I was just all over the place. And yes, I could focus at the right time, but I was difficult to pin down for decisions. I jumped around. Luckily, when you make video games and you're directing, there's always, within the course of a day, so many new things to deal with and different things to deal with, that there was always something for me to trapeze to or ping pong to when I got bored of something I was working on. So the good news is everything did eventually get done. The bad news is I was a very hard director to produce, because the producers woke up and said, oh, okay, Jaffe's meeting with the concept artist today, and they're going to make some decisions about what the final Ares boss looks like. But if my brain wasn't in that place and I was much more interested in tuning, or I was much more interested in the narrative or whatever, that's what got my attention. So it was difficult, and it made life difficult for Shannon. And, don't get me wrong, Tim Moss was a pain in my ass, just like I was a pain in his ass. But my ADD contributed more to why I was a pain in his ass. Him being snooty and British was the main reason he was a pain in my ass. But I mean, Tim's great. I just, we're very, very different people, and the way he sees the world is very different. He's a programmer. He's very logic driven. He's not buttoned up as a human, but he's very like, this does this and this follows this, and it's smart. But it's not how I see the world. It's not how I want to see the world. With Trump in office, will games get less woke? I would argue with your assessment that games are woke or not woke. I think with Trump in office, you're going to see, just like before, you're going to see a lot of people who are creative, depending on how he acts in office and what he does, choosing to use their art form to push back. You have to remember that a lot of this, I mean, we're talking what you guys call woke today. We're not talking the African-American definition of the term, and it's been bastardized, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of this kind of inclusivity and stuff in the Me Too movement, a lot of that came out of a very repressive time and culminated in 2020 with like George Floyd. And it was like, not the Me Too movement, but the whole, let's get DEI and let's get diversity departments. So it's quite possible that it'll be more of that. The only way it won't be is going to be if, like Disney, a lot of these companies have realized that, you gotta have better writing. You can't just shove in. I talked about this on the stream the other day. I was talking to my brother who was watching the show called Heartstoppers, which is about these two gay guys in high school. And he said season 1 was great, season 2 was great, but suddenly season 3, he's like, there's the two gay guys, there's now a lesbian couple, there's a trans couple, romantic couple, there's an asex. It's like it doesn't feel like good writing. It just feels like, oh, checkboxing. So I think that, rightly so, people are pushing back on, but there's a difference between pushing back on bad writing and pushing back on, I don't want to see anybody in my movies and games that don't look like me and sound like me. I think the good news is that's not going away. But the other good news is I think we're going to get better writing, because the audience has wonderfully said, we're going to reject it when most people feel it's too much. Now, there are those people out there like Grums that, assuming he's serious, and I just think he's grifting, but assuming he's serious, anything and everything that guy sees, you get the sense he wakes up in the morning and runs to the computer and says, what can I spin to, what news story in gaming or pop culture can I spin to allow me to make some more money and get a lot more engagement on Twitter. So I think those people are never going to be satisfied. Whatever, fuck them, I don't care. But I think there are certainly people who say genuinely good movies, the writing has suffered because of a poor way to weave inclusion into it, is what I would say. Is it true they want to increase taxes on video games? I don't think it's so much they want to increase taxes. I think taxes have a very good chance of going up if I understand tariffs correctly, which is we basically say if we buy something from overseas, and right now I guess we're talking China, we're not talking Japan, where the consoles come from, at least, well, parts do come from overseas. So let's just assume it takes a number of different countries, some of which will have increased tariffs to get parts to make a PlayStation. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I assume that's the case. Basically, when the tariff comes in, or when the goods come into the docks, yeah, you're going to basically have to pay a tax on that or a tariff on that. And then that's going to get passed on to the consumer. So the prices will go up. But I can't speak specifically to what things are going to be hit with a new group of tariffs and what things that are hit affect the cost of a game or the cost of a console. I don't know. But we'll see. Knock my audio up a bit. Here's what I'll tell you, Mutant Mo. I just knocked it up a bit. Tell me how it is. I don't truly understand. It doesn't matter. The point is, everybody, I get so many different people telling me my audio is too loud, too low. I don't understand why no other streamer deals with it. I have a very high-end microphone, a very high-end system. Jaffe says Matty Gibson of the Cincinnati Gibsons. He says, do you think one of the problems facing modern game development is lack of constraints with system power and memory? So many modern games take a lot of storage and often don't run well. The lack of constraints, but the games don't run well. I'm not entirely sure. I don't understand your question. Are you saying that there is a lack of system power, or there's a lack of constraint, meaning the systems are super powerful? In which case, how are you equating that with storage? I'm not entirely sure I understand. I don't understand. Let's go back to this tariff thing. Stephen Hawking says there's going to be a mixed bag with Trump when it comes to what he does and doesn't. He says wild off the wall shit a lot, and we won't go through with it. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I'm certainly not optimistic about Donald Trump. But I am less Chicken Little sky is falling about Donald Trump, because even though we did live through a number of awful things, or at least a lot of us felt they were awful, a lot of things he said he was going to do, he couldn't do or didn't do, right? So even some of the stuff he's floating, like, we're going to get rid of the Department of Education. Well, that's going to be really hard to do. I mean, it's not just he walks in day one and signs an executive order and it's gone, right? It's possible that he could get the votes he needs to do that, but it's going to be a very unpopular thing with the people who vote for it, and they're going to have to answer to their constituents in 2026. So I think a lot of it is shock value. He has no intention. Some of it he wants to do, but it's not politically possible to do. And some of it he will do, but I have no idea, as none of us do, really what that is going to be. He's saying there's so much memory, talking about the optimization devs don't have to optimize. I mean, I don't fucking know. I really don't know. I don't mean that like in a disrespectful way, but there's a lot of games that run great. And then, I found out today, I loaded up the new Call of Duty Season 1, which is out today. And I was like, every time since I've been playing Call of Duty on PC, it has to restart at least once, and sometimes 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And somebody said, oh, it's having to stream in all the textures or this, that, or the other. And I get that to some extent, but what I do like they're doing on the new Call of Duty is the textures are streaming during gameplay. So you are getting faster into the game. And then over time, depending on, I guess, your system or whatever, you're getting the textures that you can support. And so you'll see your textures in game in real time go from these muddy, just, lowest level of details you can get. And within 2 minutes, you're like, oh shit, this looks like photoreal, right? So I like a lot of the innovation we're seeing when it comes to that. I don't think the only thing I could think of, and again, maybe it definitely depends on the game, because you're getting a lot more people making games now, and it's a lot easier to make and sell games than it ever has been. And so certainly I would imagine you're going to be seeing a lot less optimized games where people who are not so much really in because of the code, they're in because the gameplay, the narrative, the art, whatever, and they've figured out how to kludge something together on Unity and it's good enough to release, but they probably are not, really passionate about getting down there and making it just a perfect, beautiful product. But I mean, all I can tell you is that's what I opened this about talking about the Game Awards. All of these games I'm playing right now, over mostly on Steam, but not exclusively, that are so interesting and different and unique are the result of a lot of an easier time people are having making video games now. And I just think it's going to lead to some wonderful, wonderful things. So I'm quite excited by that, man. I love it. Pup Monkey says, you do not want to have a world leader who says off the wall shit, even if he does not mean it. Too much chaos is not good for the world or the nation. Well, Pub Monkey, I didn't vote for him. I didn't fucking vote for him. I think he's a nightmare, but yeah, I mean, I'm with you. What about Doge, says Jacob Martin? That's an exciting perspective to cut unneeded government spending. You know what? I don't really have a problem with unneeded government spending, and most people don't have a problem with it, right? I mean, if you ask somebody, how is the national, I'm not saying it's not a problem, but just like most people couldn't tell you what a tariff is and what a tariff does, most people couldn't tell you what are the negative consequences of unneeded government spending, right? Like what about our debt? What does that mean? How does it really manifest itself as something to bother you or your future generations? If we really were worried about unneeded government spending, we'd stop bailing out all of these fucking companies when they get in trouble, and we'd start taxing and close a lot of these loopholes that let these big companies not pay their fair share. But we're not really worried about unneeded government spending. That's just enough, so no, I don't agree. I don't agree. RFK, I mean, again, I whatever. I mean, look, RFK says some good things and RFK says some stupid things, just like everybody else. I don't know what he's really going to be able to do. I don't know, people talk. I don't know if he's really, he's going to get rid of all the vaccines. I don't think so. But again, guys, I mean, and again, we don't have to talk politics all day on this. We can talk about whatever you guys want to, but if that's what's on your mind, cool. But if this guy really, if you like the idea of a guy who doesn't really have a lot of medical experience being the head of the health decisions in the country, cool, let's try it. I mean, you guys won the election, right? And as far as I know, it wasn't a stolen election. It wouldn't surprise me, but unlike certain people, I'm not going to go shouting that it was stolen just because I didn't get my way. You guys won, my side lost. Go with God. Hopefully you're not going to destroy the country with a lot of these stupid decisions. But when you're talking about some of these decisions, if they get pushed, I think they sound nightmarish, but I'm sure you think a lot of the decisions of my guys sounded nightmarish. So we'll see. But RFK coming in is, I don't hate the guy like a lot of people do. Not Trump. I can't stand Trump. I mean, RFK. I think RFK has said some smart things when he was campaigning. I watched some of his stuff, and some of his stuff I disagreed with, and some of his stuff I was like, it's interesting. And unlike a lot of people, I remember, I think his voice is cool. I like I like listening to this voice when he got. I don't know why. I don't know why I find it comforting. I don't know why. Tech Protect says Trump has had 8 years in politics at this point. He will be able to find a team of sycophants that will use anything available to get shit pushed through. Yeah, he's going to have an easier time. There's no doubt. But I also think that you've got, if you would have had an election where you saw a lot of the progressive liberal policies get shot down, then I think I'd be a bit more worried. But it's clear the country doesn't want a federal abortion ban. It's clear the country is not really looking to ban books, right? There's a lot of the DeSantis horse shit that most people, even in his own state, are like, dude, fuck you, right? I think a lot of Trump's people are going to go, they're going to see that in terms of they have to run again in 2 years, or at least a lot of them do. I don't think he's just going to get what he wants, but he might. So, let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. Let's see what Trump does with Gaza. My understanding is he's giving a blank check to Netanyahu. So, there goes that. My understanding is RFK, again, these are the worst things. I'm not saying they're going to do them, and I'm not saying these are true. These are one of the things I've heard. RFK wants to get fluoride out of water. Why? For some conspiracy horse shit? I'm sure you can show me some articles that it's bad, but you know what? I would rather trust the Dental Association of America and the scientists of America who live and breathe this shit, who say, you know what? It's not the best idea, RFK, but sure, let's fucking try it. Let's put Matt Gaetz, a guy who basically had sex with a 17-year-old when he was 30. Let's put that guy as the attorney general. Why not? Why not? See what happens. See what happens. Would you rather have a penis the length of nipples or nipples the length of a penis? I choose not to play your silly game because neither of those choices sound appealing to me. If you could shoot Earth with a Death Star, would you do it? No, of course not. I would absolutely not do it. I don't I don't hate people. I don't hate anybody. Everybody's just trying. Even people like Trump, who I think is a fucking nightmare, and I wish he lost, and I wish people had better, I wouldn't have done it. I'm not advocating it. And I wouldn't want the guy removed from the earth because of a sniper's bullet, but would I want him, to be maybe scarred enough to go, I need to get out of the race? Sure. Did you watch the UFO hearing? The Congress lady is hot. She is, Nancy Mace. I did watch. I watched all of it. In fact, let me show you. This is a tough, and by the way, if you guys want to call in, you can. Let me put the link up here if anybody wants to call in and share their views on this stuff. Copy link. But before you do, or before I bring anybody on, let me show you this. This is just a 1-minute clip from yesterday. Now, this is there's going to be a Senate hearing, I think, in December. Okay, I'm going to get to the UFO thing in a minute. I got to address that. So Jaffe likes high inflation and DEI. Got it. Untimed. What's your name? Untimed purpose. Before I respond to you, are you joking? Like, are you absolutely joking? This is what really bothers me, untimed purpose. It's not that you're right, I'm wrong, vice versa. It's that it's like if you're not being a troll, it's like you don't understand how things work. Nobody likes high inflation, okay? You act like you're just sort of in the know and everyone else is not when it comes to like, oh, Trump's going to lower inflation. Well, Biden lowered the inflation rate, but do you understand that the prices of things, let me explain something to you as far as I understand it. Now, untamed purpose, you may be smarter or more dialed in than me. If so, please let me know. But here are 3 reasons that I have been given to worry about the promises that your Donald Trump is making. Number 1, the tariffs are going to cause, at least in the short and medium term, prices to go up. Prices of all kinds of goods to go up, and we're going to pay for them. Not China. People are like, oh, China's going to have to. Well, no, we're going to pay for them. Is it possible that eventually America comes around and says, well, if we don't want to pay $40 for a t-shirt at Walmart, we'll have to start making them? It's possible. But then you're talking years from now, and you're also talking, you're not going to be getting a $30 t-shirt at Walmart if the minimum wage doesn't go up. Or you're going to be having basically a slave class. You're going to have basically the quality of life they have in these countries where they can make these t-shirts for pennies. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, you're going to send back all these people that do the migrant work that these big businesses don't want to lose. Well, suddenly you're going to see cost of groceries go up and vegetables and fruits go up. I guess you could hire Americans to hang out in the fields and pick strawberries. And I guess, again, you'll get a slave class in America because most people aren't going to want to work for $5 unless that's just sort of what they're planning on. And they want to create that more of a class system. And the other thing is, you've got people like Elon Musk, who is talking about, wanting to do a number of things that run absolute counter to what other people on the in the inner circle want. So who's going to win those battles, and what is that going to look like? So, I mean, but if you want to reduce it to a simple little bumper sticker of, so Jeffy likes high inflation, got it. I mean, it's okay to be that unengaged, but still parrot talking points, I suppose. I don't think it's healthy, but you got to kind of, chase your dreams, baby. Do what you got to do. Okay. Let me go down here. This is your problem, Untamed. If the Dems would have won, every state would have been skyrocketed to being a clone of California. I don't want that. The Dems have had 4 years. Is your state currently a clone of California? Is that what you're seeing? You're just pulling that out of your butt. And again, that's fine. It's a privilege. It is a financial privilege to have the time to engage in politics and how it affects, your life. Maybe you don't have that. So I get it. But, okay. Let's move forward though for the moment. I want to talk about this UFO thing. So you have a Senate hearing coming up. I think it's December they've announced. You had the second House hearing yesterday. There was one last year, and all of these have been loaded with people who have taken an oath. These are military people, former military people, scientists. These are not, I was out in my trailer in a song. Nothing's wrong with living in a trailer, but in being a redneck. But these are not people that are sort of historically mocked for believing conspiracy theorists, right? This is a 1-minute clip I'm going to play you if this works, because I'm on this I'm on this system that doesn't always work so good. This is a 1-minute clip of Representative Eric Burleson, who is Missouri's 7th Congressional District. And this was a bipartisan thing yesterday. There was Democrats and Republicans. It wasn't for once, but this was the exchange. Let me share this and see if you guys can see this, because it's kind of nuts that it's like this guy was under oath. Yeah. And he said that. Yeah. And we're not constantly talking about it. It's weird to me. Don't be condescending with whom you disagree with, says Ultra Awesome. I'll be condescending with people who I think deserve condescension. How else am I supposed to deal with someone that comes in and offers up literally horseshit? I'm supposed to sort of treat them with the same level of respect as anyone who clearly has done their research? Come on, why would I do that? Why the fuck would I do that, man? I did see Hip Hop Gamers claim that young Kratos will be playable. I didn't even know that he'll be playable. I think the whole next God of War, I thought he said, is about young Kratos, but I didn't watch the whole thing, but it was news to me and I thought it was great. I hope that's the case. All right, here we go. Tell me if this is buffering. It doesn't work so great, but I'll do my best.
There was a journalist, Christopher Sharp, who said that there was a transfer between Lockheed Martin, Bigelow Aerospace, and the CIA allegedly blocked this. Can you describe that?
What I can say is that it was blocked. Why it was blocked, I can only surmise. I was part of some conversations later on with some of those contract personnel where they had told all of us that is accurate.
It was previously testified that there was biologics that were collected. Are you aware of any of that?
I am, sir, aware of the reporting that biologics have been recovered.
To your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
And they went on. I mean, it was a hearing really worth watching. And I got to say, I mean, what's crazy about this to me is no one seems to really care about this, in the sense that you'd think this would be some of the biggest news in the world, but I guess we're so busy with everything else. It's just kind of, it just kind of comes and goes. I don't get it. All right. This is Brandon, Brandon, what's your name? Waskowitz. Brandon, what's up?
Waskowitz. Yes, Brandon Waskowitz.
Is your camera on or no? Oh, there you are. All right.
I guess it's on. Okay, there we go.
What's up, man? What do you want to talk about?
Okay, I was just trying to join a chat. I didn't know I was going to be actually on the stream. Okay, I do have a question, though.
What do you mean you're trying? I don't know. Let's stop there for a minute. Whoa, let's stop there. You're trying to join a chat, but I don't understand.
Yeah, I thought this link was just to join a chat to ask questions, and then it just like, hey, camera and stuff.
Oh, would you would you like to go away? I don't want to pull you on if you don't want to be on.
Oh, no. I'm all good. I'm totally free to ask a question right now.
All right. What's going on?
So, I know that you have made, a lot of video games. I'm actually playing with a Astrobot with a 5-year-old right now. Nice. And this is I think his first big video game. Any tips on how to maybe teach a 5-year-old how to play video games? Because I don't know if I'm doing the best job.
Not really. I mean, and I say that because I think the biggest thing will be, if they're interested, they'll figure it out. Because both of my kids, I have pictures of my daughter, who's now 21, holy shit, sitting on my lap, and I am playing Mario Kart Double Dash on the GameCube. And so she's she's like a year old, right? And my son was sitting on my lap when I was tuning Twisted Metal, right? So, I mean, and they have been surrounded by video games their whole lives. Neither of them, other than the social aspects of games, like my son plays a lot of Fortnite, but that's more because he hangs with his friends, are gamers. Yeah. They just don't give a fuck. So I would say you don't need to really teach your kid to play video games. If it's something they like, they'll figure it out. It's what I think is really joyful. And I don't know if my daughter's watching right now. I saw her boyfriend was on the stream, but one of the things that made me really happy is, I mean, you as an adult remember great moments of your childhood. Is that the sound of a baby? Let me hear that child. Listen,
yes, this is.
Hey, buddy,
right here.
Hey, what's up,
there
man?
You go.
So what I will say is, you don't, you have all these great memories of your childhood, hopefully, not necessarily, but hopefully. And what you think when you become a parent, or at least what I thought, was that, okay, I am going to create those consciously for my kids. And it took me a little while to recognize your job is just to be there and be present, like you're being with your son right now. It's you, because the other day I was driving with my daughter and she was telling me about one of her favorite childhood memories was going to GameStop and buying Skylanders action figures. Now I remember doing that, but I don't remember it being such an important, meaningful moment. It was just a Saturday and hey, what are we doing today? Hey, we're playing Skylanders. Let's go grab some new figures at the GameStop down the road. But for whatever reason, that carved a path in her gray matter, right? So I would just say, be there, be present, and whatever interest he, she, they end up having, be there, and that's what matters. I think if he wants to play games, he'll figure it out. But let's be clear, Astrobot is not a kid's game. It presents as a kid's game, but you know, it's a Mark Cerny platformer, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it's not, you know,
it's definitely
you know what I heard? I heard Lego Horizons, which is out, I think today or tonight at 9 a.m. Certainly by tomorrow. That is a much better game for families to play together because apparently it's fun. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's co-op, couch, and online, and it is actually simple enough that kids can play it, but it's interesting enough that adults aren't going to, you know, want to gouge their eyes out. So
that's interesting.
That may be
honestly,
a better
I
thing
kind
to
of
look
forgot
into.
that was coming out. I honestly forgot about that.
Comes out tomorrow. All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. See you later. All right. Let's see. There we go. I'll bring in Prince in just 1 second. I want to address this from Benji Udden. He says the aliens are us from the future building a 3D space inside of 5D space to not stop a nuke holocaust. Here's what I would tell you. Even not Nancy Mace, and it wasn't Crazy Lady Boebert. It was another the other woman on the council yesterday. She was asking about David Grush, who was the whistleblower from the last congressional hearing, talking about interdimensional beings. And this has come out a couple of times now that these aren't aliens. And this isn't coming out like in some fringe magazine. This is coming out when these congressional people walk out of a confidential meeting and the journalists ask them stuff. And they're like, well, we can't really say this, that, or the other. But remember when Grush said interdimensional beings, he never said aliens. And the reporter says, yeah. And the guy says, or the woman says, you know, everything that we just heard in that confidential meeting points to there's a reason you should believe this guy, right? And I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be thinking and hearing Congress people talking in real life, not a movie, about interdimensional beings. But the more I think about it, I really I think, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't have any real theories here, but if somebody were to say to me, when we die, we exist in this other dimension. We move into the fourth or fifth or whatever dimension where they're fully aware of us all the time and they can see us and they can judge us and we can't see them, just like in Flatland, they can't see us. I think these are things poking through that dimension. And I think if you look back at sort of a lot of the God tropes, he's always with you, he's always judging, you know, I think whether it's because we're a cosmic television show and us in the third dimension are living and they're like, make this happen next week, this is our entertainment, or they really are determining who gets to, you know, transcend to their dimension based on how we live our lives. Some of that stuff kind of makes sense, but I don't really fucking know. Am I saying your dead grandpa is watching me? It wouldn't surprise me. It would not fucking surprise me. I'm bringing in Prince and there's nothing you can do to stop me. Here's Prince. What's up, bud?
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Good. It's nice to be able to talk with you again.
Yeah. What we're talking about today.
So I want to bring back to the UAP stuff because I want to ask you a few questions because even in the last few months, my whole mindset has changed pretty drastically on this. But I want to ask you, what do you think the national security issue is that they're so worried about?
Okay, so let me get this straight first because I don't remember. Were you the guy that called in before and talked to me about Malaysia, the Malaysia Airlines? Okay, right. You turned me on to Ashton. Yeah, and then Mick West and that whole thing. And you know, it's right. I always have to be careful because you go on Twitter and now Blue Sky, and I'm on both now, and you know, it just starts inundating you with this to the point that you're like, it's all you see in your feed, and you think, oh my God, disclosure's happening tomorrow. And it's like, it's feeding you what you want to see. But anyway, I think if you listen to this Ashton guy, I don't have the science background or intelligence to know who's out there talking bullshit and who's just, grifting and who's, accurate. But I think a logical piece to this is whether it is from us or from aliens or interdimensional beings. I think the idea of this 0 point energy thing makes a lot of sense. I think when you start talking about the world ramifications or the ramifications on the globe, when it comes to, hey, we can power everything without needing coal or fuel or even solar power. We can travel at beyond close to the speed of light. All the businesses that get disrupted and ruined. I think you're talking, so many seismic cultural changes that you open up that tube of toothpaste, and I don't think we have any idea what our world will look like 5 years after that. If it turns out we can get from, Florida to Washington State in a matter of 3 seconds, or if we can get from Florida to Venus in a matter of seconds, right? What does it mean when we no longer need the oil? What does it mean when we no longer need to worry about the car lobbyist and the oil lobbyist and the power grid? So I think a lot of it is an energy issue, which is they're worried about the people who fund the campaigns, and more importantly, they're worried about, if this gets out, what does life on this planet look like?
I would wager it's probably a bit more it's more about the weaponization of it rather than the utopian society that could come from it.
Oh, I don't think it has to be utopian. It could be horrible, but keep going. Sorry.
Also true. The reason why I've shifted this, because I used to be all on board the alien like hype train, I guess.
Yeah.
But now I've been like second guessing it, because whenever I look at it more reasonably, the reason why people assume it's aliens is because it's technology that they just can't come to terms with us, making. But following Ashton, main reason why I'm like really invested into his aspects is he does go into the science, and he does a good job of explaining it and kind of bringing it down to more layman's terms. But it's really the paper trail that's the most interesting. There's these documents called the DIRDs, Defense Intelligence Reference Documents, and Eric Davis also has some papers from 2004, and some of these are even back to the 80s, and they all mention all these things about traversable wormholes and teleportation and all of these things. And these are all foiable. You can go and look at these all online right now. And when you look at the paper trail, and especially these specific figures like Eric Davis, you got Hal Puthoff, Salvatore Pais, Ken Shoulders, Tom Bearden. These people are like deep in the Black Project world, and they're known people. So it's
a little racist, sir. Little racist, but I'll let it go. Keep going.
For sure. So diving more into that aspect makes me second guess the alien thing entirely, because it does make for a very, very compelling cover-up story. And then when you look at people like Lou Elizondo or Tim Gallaudet or Dave Grush, I start to now lean more towards the idea of that they're almost sort of like useful idiots, if that makes sense. Like, they are given information that is half true, and they're this is the disclosure process actually happening. Because another good point Ashton brings up is a lot of this science stuff that's in these papers eventually is going to get caught up with AI and stuff like that. Eventually AI is going to start cranking out all of these answers to certain things like free energy and whatnot. And I feel like they're starting to prepare because they know it's inevitable. It's going to come out. So it seems like the alien narrative.
Whether it's aliens or not, I mean, that I think there is, it's cool. All right, buddy. Whether it's aliens or not, I think there's clearly something that these people want to keep secret, right? And my question to you would be is, let's assume it's not aliens, because there was a woman who disappeared, who was, I think she was working out of the University of Alabama, which is where I'm from.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and she went down.
Lady?
Yeah, and she was working on like gravity propulsion, but there was no there was no energy required that, to make the thing go, right? It was just free energy, basically. And apparently she had filed some patents and done some real work on it, and then she just vanished, right? So
yeah,
I don't
she got
think,
sucked into the black world, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be aliens either. But then the question is, whatever it is, how would you weaponize it? I mean, I understand how you would change travel, change warfare in terms of we're not fighting certain people anymore because they don't have resources we need, because we don't need their oil, or we don't need this, that, or the other. But what do you think why are they trying to weaponize it if that's what's happening? What are they trying to create?
Well, the why is simply like just trying to be ahead of the competition. Like whoever has this technology essentially dominates the world. But the way it can be weaponized is in the MH370 videos alone. It presents like the idea, and when you go into, if you learn more and like go through a lot of these papers, a lot of them directly like talk about what is being shown in those videos, like the EVOs or whatever they're called. So
the orb things,
yeah, the orbs. So with those, apparently they're like ball plasma. So it's like a magnet monopole. How? Yeah. So the
what you just said, I know one of the words, which is magnet, and the second word I don't, but I'm going to nod and say yeah, like I do, because it probably isn't relevant to what you're saying for me to know.
You definitely seen the imagery of it. Like, imagine a magnet, and you see like how.
Let me explain this to people so they know. What Prince is talking about is the Malaysian flight, 370, that vanished over 10 years ago. They've never really found the wreckage. At least they say they haven't. I know some people have said, no, they found this, that, or the other.
There's a few pieces, but they ended up in Africa, which is kind of impossible if it crashed in the South China Sea.
And then I also heard that their phones, if you actually take a phone and it gets exploded and you call it, you're going to get something different. But apparently the families, there was a news story that when they were calling their loved ones' cell phones, it was going
days afterwards.
Right. It was going to either voicemail or something that it's like, if that phone's been blown up, it wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Or if it was in the ocean, it wouldn't work.
Right. So
in salt water, they die like immediately.
Right. So the story is that, and there's video of it, but then there's people who've said they've debunked it. Then there's people who've debunked the debunkers, and this is and on and on and on and on, which is the intent. You're not supposed to ever know. Right. So every time you think you found an aha moment, there's something that can go, here's an aha to your aha. So that's why I'm kind of agnostic on all this. But these orbs started circling the plane. I think it was you, Prince, that told me the people on the plane were a bunch of Chinese scientists, or there was a large 20 percentage
semiconductor scientists,
right, which are part of this whole thing, or they're part of.
Yeah, they were Malaysian nationals. Well, some of them were Malaysian nationals, some were Chinese, and they worked for this American company, Freescale Semiconductors, and they were working to basically just make superconductors, which is crazy tech, especially for that time. Right now, it's a big deal because it's very integral to AI. But in 2014, no one really knew about that. And it seems like the narrative is that they were potentially defecting to China to give them some sort of information that we had over here. And that's why that operation seemed to take place.
But why? And the operation is a bunch of orbs started circling, these plasma orbs that people are starting to say they're seeing more and more. And there's a lot of videos of them that don't seem like they're CGI. But they were circling the plane, and then the plane just vanished, right? And it was supposed to basically teleport it somewhere, correct? Where did it go?
So based off of there's two things in the very last, like second to last frame, when you see the plane, you could see the tail of the plane pulled backwards. And if you use the coordinates in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, you can see that the plane is going to the east, but it's pulled backwards to the west. To the west would line it up with Diego Garcia military base, which is just a military base like out in the middle of nowhere near the Maldives. There's witnesses that corroborate it. There's witnesses in the Maldives that claim to have seen a low-flying plane that had smoke coming out of it, and that was on its way to Diego Garcia. There's a fire suppression device that landed in, washed ashore in the Maldives. Later, was never looked into. Ashton actually FOIA'd that fire suppression device. He FOIA'd the CIA and he FOIA'd the NSA, and they rejected the FOIA, saying in defense of national security. It's like, why would a fire suppression device for a 777, from 2014 be filed? And they only do that stuff normally if they have no information on it. They would just say we don't have any information on it, but they reject it in the defense of national security. Like, he's gone and FOIA'd a lot of things that should not be coming back the way they do.
So okay, so but the core essence is they didn't want these scientists defecting to China. But did they not want them dead? Because why not just launch a missile and blow the plane up? Why not put bombs on the plane?
Well, I think the reason why is they wanted, it was almost like theatrics in a way. It's like 6th generational warfare. It's like they want to send a message to China to never do this again. And interestingly enough, the very next day, China hacked the Malaysian government, and they stole classified data on the plane, which there shouldn't even have been classified data on a missing plane a day after it goes missing. That makes no sense. And then they release a satellite video or satellite image of the plane, claiming it's debris. And if you look at the image, it literally looks exactly like what we see in those videos. You see like a big object, and you see like 3 circular objects surrounding it, and they released that claim it's debris, but it seems like it was almost like a play of like, we know what you did kind of thing. And it's weird that why would China hack the Malaysian government? Like that doesn't really make any sense unless they were waiting on this plane to arrive and to get these scientists, and when stuff didn't pull through. And they have satellites as well. They can reconnaissance and look down just like we have, but our technology seems to be a lot more advanced than theirs.
See, I wonder about the I wonder about, if you're saying these guys are useful idiots, they're trying to convince us all they're aliens. I mean,
I think they genuinely believe that. I didn't know for sure until yesterday, because Lou Elizondo said under oath that he believed it wasn't our tech. So I'm like, okay, I don't think he's literally being like a disinfo agent. I think they definitely, one thing they all say, which is why I think we shouldn't 100% trust them, is they all say they want to protect national security. And in my eyes, the free energy and the weapons capability that this tech allows is the national security issue, not aliens or any of that. It's just that. That's why David Grush is allowed to go through Dopster, and anything alien related he can talk about. No issues, like, because that's not national security. It's the technology. It's what it means.
Right. So yeah, wherever it came from is almost irrelevant as it relates to this topic. But I mean, do you think that, I mean, ultimately, whether it's aliens or not, what benefit is it for them to be out there making us think it's aliens? I mean, it's still the tech, right? I mean, what value do we get if the American public thinks it's coming from aliens? Just a misdirect or something?
That's the thing that confuses me the most, honestly. There is this rumor, I don't know where it's originating from, that I keep hearing. You may have heard it too, where people keep talking about 2027. I don't know where the hell that's coming from, but what people are hypothesizing that sometime in the future, they're going to do like a mock invasion or whatever. They're going to like theatrically fake an invasion in order to keep the consistency of government, if that makes like. So
I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, you know, okay, I mean, at some point you just have to throw up your hands and go, okay,
I don't know.
who the fuck knows what's going on. But I here's what I can say. I do think we are seeing more of these things in the sky. We're seeing more orbs. I think the you know, you don't have to look very far and very hard to find not crazy UFOs, but not drones that are like, oh, that's a light show from a drone, but like these things that are moving really weird. You know, I don't know, man. I don't know what it's going to take for us to, I think it's just maybe we have to survive long enough to evolve out of being greedy assholes. So hopefully we can all share this stuff and make a better world for everyone.
That's the scary part.
You know, it's really disgusting, you know, to me, how just corrupt all of this shit is. But, you know, that's
human nature.
It's like, yeah, I know, but we got to get better. Where's the tech for that? Where's the fucking pill we can all take to evolve 100,000 years in an afternoon? That's what
maybe
we
we
need.
just all have to have chips in our brains to just make us not fuck up or something. I don't know.
I'll fucking do it. Why not? All right, buddy. Always good to talk to you. We should talk more frequently about this stuff. People seem to enjoy it. So if you ever got some time, reach out. We'll talk about maybe doing a couple of just long form discussions about all this weird, crazy shit.
Oh, sweet. Yeah,
all right, man. Let me know. You know where to find me.
I got you.
All right, dude. See you, Prince. All right. If you want to call in like good Sir Prince just did, you can. Let me give you the link. Michael Struckman, I am not over on YouTube, so I don't know what tier you've joined. Not that it matters. The fact that you've joined at all means a great deal to me. Thank you so much for that. Michael Struckman has become a member of the Gavin Games community, which will be happening again, and a proper Gavin is happening tomorrow. This is just sort of a free chat that I do from time to time, because why the fuck not? Does Prince have a channel? I don't know, but if he doesn't, he should. Prince, if you have a channel, put it in the chat so people can find you. Yeah, John Peterson says Prince killed it. Yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay, so let's see what else we got. What's happening in the world? Let me go over here. Listen to this. Let me go back to video games for a moment, if you guys don't mind. I don't know how to believe this. This is an article on IGN from today saying that the AAA blockbuster bubble has burst. I mean, that's hyperbolic. I don't think it's burst, but certainly working in that space has been insanely difficult, to the point that if you're out there watching the show one day and thinking, maybe I should go into the video game business. No, you shouldn't. You should go make your own video games. If that's what you want to do, don't go fucking work for these people. Unless you're just like a programmer and you want to play with the newest tech, that I get. But if you're a creative, don't go fucking work for these people. Don't be an idiot. Don't be a fucking moron. But the point is this, though. 5 years ago, this is an article in IGN. I'm reading directly from it now. AAA projects average budgets range between 50 and 150 million bucks. Today, the minimum is 200 million to make a AAA video game. Call of Duty, which has season 1 out today, by the way, new benchmark is 300 million. And then listen to this. In the same report that was the whole CMA merger thing with Activision and Microsoft, anonymous publisher admitted that development costs for one of its franchises was 660 million bucks, with 550 million separately going to marketing. It says that is a $1.2 billion game. To put that into perspective, Minecraft, the world's best-selling game of all time, has of last year only sold $3 billion in profit. It took 12 years to reach that. So, I mean, yeah, this is, shit's, don't work for these people. Make your own shit. It's easy enough now. If you really want to do it, make your own shit. Hey, Jaffe. I'll bring in, we got ourselves, at least he was in, then he's out. So if you want to call back, Mastadope says, Jaffe, are you worried about your kid regarding trans rights and what Donald Trump said regarding trans rights? Well, I'm not worried about my kid, because my kid is an adult now. And so, all of the stuff that he has wanted to do and we wanted to do, for him, has occurred, and he's out of school and this and that and the other. So I'm really concerned about trans kids who live in places where there is no support, right? And there is either it becomes a federal thing or just a state thing where they are unable to get any sort of support, just like women who need an abortion. I think the number of kids are going to be, I think it's going to be rough. I think it's going to be rough, and I think it's a real tragedy, and I think it's a shame that they have used these kids as political pawns. They have no shame. They have no shame. Here's Psycho. What's going on, Psycho? How you doing? Psycho.
Hello, it's me again.
What's going on, buddy?
Hello?
Yes, hello. How are you?
Great.
What's up? Are you there?
Oh boy.
I think you're. There's a wait. Hang on.
Director.
Wait. There's a delay because you're listening on your computer. You have to basically listen without watching the show, because otherwise there's going to be a delay and we're not going to be able to talk that way.
I did click off on the show right now.
Okay, so let's see. Try now.
Tab, but
all right, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yep. I can hear you.
Okay, if the delay gets too bad, just tell me what you want to talk about, then I'll hang up on you and I'll address your comment. Go.
Okay, right now I just played Pixel Gun 3D and recorded stuff. On my first attempt, I forgot to actually switch it on OBS from multi-voices to to the game itself, and I had to do it again. But this time I did. It had to be 20 minutes.
Yes, and, but what do you want? What do you call?
Right now it's in Power Director.
What's going on? What do you want to talk about?
Oh, I am so disappointed in this country right now. At this point, I'm trying to formulate things in my brain before I make a video that's going to be the only politically heavy big video in my channel, and that's it. I'm not focusing. Like I said in that video, I'm not a political channel. I'm trying to entertain people, like with Jacksepticeye and the other OG YouTubers. I'm trying to be like that. That's it.
Why don't you just be like you?
Oh, I'm so disillusioned and disappointed in this country right now. Like you have no idea how much disappointment I have towards the Democrats.
I think I have a pretty good idea.
Just every fucking facet of it.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like just every fucking facet.
But I mean, I take a little comfort in the fact that I know that a meaningful percentage of people who voted this guy in genuinely did so because they felt they were struggling financially. And while I don't think that's a get out of jail free card for making tons of bad decisions,
my mom says the economy is good, even though she's not. Even though my mom says she's not rich, she did say the economy is good. But the thing is, how good is the economy depending on the perspective? That's what matters.
If you have stocks and stuff, you're doing pretty well. But if you're struggling to put food on the table and you live paycheck to paycheck, I can understand how you can go into the gas station and the grocery store and go, I can't take care of my family like this. And so while I don't support anything about Donald Trump, I absolutely understand that take why somebody might have made that choice. But the other stuff, if people voted for social issues, I tend to have real issues with these people who voted because they're believing a lot of the horse shit that's going to be very harmful for a lot of fellow Americans. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, like the Haitians eating dogs. Like when I saw that on Twitter, I was like, how is that? Okay, first of all, show some evidence, Donald Trump. I mean, it was during the presidential debate, and
okay, but he's not going to show you. He's not going to show you evidence. It's not about that. His people don't really care. The people who really believe that are not the majority. Most people are like, they go, "Oh, he just says crazy stuff. That's one of the things we like about him." Right. It's I think one of the mistakes liberals make with this guy is they actually think that it's like, if you take him seriously at everything he says, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is this man smoking right now? And where can I get some? Right. That's the problem. But I mean, that's a problem. But yeah, man, it's bad. But welcome to America. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. All right, buddy. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. Psycho, always good to talk to you.
My barber said, hold on, wait. Hold on, wait.
Well, what?
It's my barber says that we should apply one fascist thing in this country, but it's only one thing. It's that if you have to be voluntary. Oh my God, I forgot how it's done. Oh, Fuck, I fucked up my chance on this one. Okay,
No, you didn't. Relax. Take a breath. Take a
I
breath.
need to get my brain.
Take a breath. Your mom says what now?
No, my brother says
Your
that
brother.
that we need to, put in a national, you know, national volunteerment, I think, where the ones who vote are the ones who actually, work in community service and other things like that, like in other important positions before they, are given a right to vote, because then they'll have experience on what's going on inside every sector of the politics. And well,
I mean, you can't.
and
I
I
mean,
am
yeah. I
skeptical
mean,
of it, but
yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I think we have a republic because the whole point of it is that we want people who are making these decisions to either have the experience or know where to go to get it before they cast their votes. The biggest problem is we need to get the money out of politics, which is impossible at this point in America, because that's what's corrupting everything and making it a country that really is not representative of any of us. But all right, Psycho, good to see you. Talk to you later, buddy. All right, there he goes off into the night. If you want to call in, I'll put the link down below. In the meantime, let me read this chat right here. Let me put the link in for you guys, though. Add a guest. Copy the link. You copy the link. Yeah. Okay. It seems like it's going to be stated since someone is getting rid of the Department of Education. Again, I don't think he's going to be able to get rid of the Department of Education. I mean, these are things that he says. I mean, I hope he can't, but again, it's a very unpopular position to take. The majority of the country doesn't want it, and I think he will lose a lot of seats in the Senate and the House if he pushes for that and people vote for it, because he can't just snap his fingers and make it go away. There are some things he can do with executive orders, but that's not one of them, is my understanding anyway. I could be wrong. But we'll see. Cantankerous, thank you for the super chat. He says, here's some ducats for more war stories. No pressure. Absolutely. If you guys want more war, if you know what he's talking about, members have a show. There's a couple of shows members have. I flip-flop around. The member shows allow me to have my ADD and not worry about it. I'm always doing the gabbing in the games, but for member shows, I have like Brain on Games. I have War Stories when I talk about things, my time in video games. I'll put one together in the next couple of weeks. Absolutely. Thank you for the reminder, and thank you for the super chat, buddy. And thank you for being a member. I appreciate it. Also, by the way, if you are a member of any tier, there may be value in you coming over tomorrow on the Discord around 5:00. And I'm not going to tell you why there may be value. What? I didn't say anything. I didn't click anything and put it on the screen for you to see. What? There may be value because maybe we'll, peruse some sort of competition together. I'm looking forward, by the way, totally unrelated, to the fight tomorrow. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. I don't know, man. I don't know. No, I think it's California time, 5:00. I don't know who's supposed to win this thing. I get it. Tyson's 53, 54. Jake Paul is prime, but I don't know, man. It's not like if you saw it, even if you weren't there. I was in high school when Tyson was in his prime, and it was insane. It was like watching a, Doomsday from Superman beat up on anybody else who stepped into the ring with him. So of course I'm hoping to see that, but who knows? PK says the fight is predetermined. I heard that rumor as well, and I heard it was in his contract. But what I don't understand about that, though, is this is not an exhibition fight. This is a fight that has been, and I can't speak boxing terms, so you know what I mean when I say it, but I'm going to get the terminology wrong. But this is a fight that's been sanctioned, is my understanding, by the Las Vegas Boxing Commission or some such. So this is a real fight that goes in the books, that goes in the record books. And in that, I don't think you can have a contract that says I'm throwing the fight. I could be wrong. I mean, I'm not like, look, if we can make the Malaysian airplane disappear, we can certainly, throw some fucking boxing matches. But I'm just saying I don't fully understand how, if it is that, it would be a fight he can throw. Nick, it's Jaffe. What's going on, man? Nicholas.
Hello?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey man, how are you doing? Just got a quick question.
Yes.
I don't know how closely you were following the voting trends, but it looks like young men, particularly white men, went more for Trump than was expected this cycle.
Yeah.
Do you think online culture, when it comes to the gaming sphere, media, calling everything woke, do you think that has a lot to do with it? Or do you think this is just something that's going to happen as like a consequence of like the Democrats focusing, I guess, more on policies that don't necessarily benefit them out, like from when you first hear them, we're not like an actual focus of the party? Or do you think it's a culture war problem?
Well, okay. Here's what I would say. I would say there really is no culture war. The culture war is Karl Rove's playbook, which is wedge issues, right? The idea that women's sports has actually become something people talk about, unless you're talking about Caitlin Clark, is the most ridiculous thing on the planet to me. No one gave a shit about women's sports and trans folks and women's sports until they were told to get angry about it. So here's what I think is, I think the Republicans do a very, very good job of, are you raking leaves?
No, I'm just walking outside. My house is loud.
Oh,
If
okay.
that's a problem, I can.
No. I'll mute you while I'm talking, just because I hear that.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, that's not your problem. That's what walking does, baby. So I think, honestly, I think that the idea that the Republicans have done a very, very good job at separating people, making people mad at each other, saying you should hate this, you should be, we're going to other these people over here. You're the victim. I think it's a very, and our messages are going to be really simple. We're going to make things, not to say that Republicans are not as smart as Democrats, although that has been argued, but fundamentally, I think, people don't have time to follow politics in any meaningful way. And the Democrats fucked up because they were talking policy and they weren't really speaking to the economy. And so with those things not being on the table, yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, this is about, they don't care about me and Trump cares about me. And, I think that's why they lost a lot of the young men. I think a lot of these young men, and a lot of them tend to hang out in my fucking chat for some reason, are thinking there are boogeymen out there that don't really exist. I have a trans son. I know my trans son's friends. These guys are not out there giving a fuck what you call them in terms of they, them. I mean, if you misgender them, they'll think you're an asshole. If you dead name them, they'll think you're an asshole, but they'll move on with their fucking day like anybody else. I think it's not this thing. I think somebody said the other day, there's like 40 trans athletes, female athletes in any kind of professional or collegiate collectively setting. It's a teeny tiny little thing, and it's become a talking point. It's a ridiculous thing. It's a ridiculous thing. That's what I think. That's why I think they lost him. And that's why I think, look, Joe Rogan's making bank, telling them what they want to hear. People are getting elected, telling people what they want to hear. That's how it works. That's sales, baby. It sucks, but it's true. You're still there, Nick, if you want to talk. Did we lose him? Did the truth kill him? It knocked him over? Are you there, Nick? All right, well, I can't see you, so you're on if you want to talk. Way of the Lao says it's just inflation. Well, again, that's a big part of it. It's like I said, those two things. It's the economy, as Carville said, it's the economy stupid. That was a huge part of it. And the other part of it is the wedge issues is what I think lost it for him. So, Darth, but see, the reason your statement doesn't really work for me. Darth Nuggety says, so one injustice is not one too many. How many before it's a problem? If you really felt that way, though, you would be you can't be selective about what outrages you or what injustices you want to fight for or against, and then say something like that, right? Because if you're just like, dude, I'm Gandhi, I'm Mother Teresa, any injustice I go after, no matter the size, or I'm going to go after the ones that are really big, that are really harming people. Okay. You want to go after an injustice? How about the fact that really, really, really rich people have tons of loopholes, and in those loopholes, they can avoid paying lots and lots and lots of taxes that your average Gen Pop person can't. And what happens when those taxes don't get paid? Roads get worse, police gets worse, less money for training, firefighters have less money, less resources. If you're worried about injustices, why not go after that injustice? Because that is affecting the vast majority of this country. So that's why when you say how many before it's a problem, I don't know, but certainly you're going to need a lot more before it becomes a big enough problem like what I just mentioned. That's why it feels like it's veiled racism or transphobia or homophobia, and not actually you're just like a fighter against the injustices of the world, is what I would say. Dims do focus on policy. Ultra Awesome. This is what's funny. Ultra Awesome says, I wish Dims focused on policy instead of identity politics that were far and large irrelevant. Well, again, I voted for Kamala. She lost. I get it. I'm not going to try to sell you that you should have voted for her, but I don't remember a lot of what Trump said in the debates. I remember Kamala saying, now again, she misjudged because she said, here's my policy for getting people to start small businesses. Here is my policy for getting people to buy their first home. Here's how we're paying for it. We're going to tax people who pay over $400,000. They did focus on policy. I would argue they focused on policy at their own peril, which is one of the reasons they lost, because policy is boring to most people, especially when they're tired and they don't have the bandwidth to do fucking internet shows like this. They work all day. They got their own expertise they got to deal with. They come home. They don't want to sit there and watch that. So, I would argue that they kept it too political in terms of policy is what I would say. But the fact that you're saying you wish they would have focused on it suggests to me that you're not paying attention, because they focused a lot on it, actually. Okay. I'm just looking for a comment. Sorry. Jeremy Alford, you're part of the problem. This is what Jeremy Alford has chosen to type in the chat. Men being in women's sports, I think he means trans women, is the dumbest shit on the planet. How can anyone see that as a good idea? I want to really dive into this for a brief moment, Jeremy. No one, including most trans women, think it's a good idea to have sports being unfair. There are other ways to make sports fair, however. But that said, though, regardless of that, where did it go? The idea that you think that is worth your vote. Like, I was willing to vote for Kamala Harris, even though I probably don't agree with her take on Gaza. I certainly don't agree with Trump's take, but if her take is even 80% of what I think Joe Biden's take was, I was still willing to vote for her for all these other reasons. If your main talking point for why you chose to vote for Trump was the women's sport thing, then you are woefully unengaged with the actual issues of this country. Because sure, I think most people in sports want a fair competition. Are there some people that are like, I'm going to do whatever it fucking takes to win, including this? Sure, maybe. But I don't think most people get into collegiate sport level and certainly pro sports and go, I just want to cheat because, yeah, there's money in those hills to be the best female volleyball player on the planet. I mean, think about that for a minute, right? You're going to fucking cheat and fuck with your reputation, and it's because you want a trophy from winning a collegiate volleyball match? Really? Okay, priorities, my friend. But that said, though, sure, fine. Make that something you care about, but that's going to pivot your vote one way or another. It's ridiculous. You're being manipulated. Look, I'm a liberal. I'm a progressive. I have a little bit of money in the bank, not a lot, but a little. But I can understand why my side lost because they fucked up caring about the economy. When Kamala Harris says, I'll help you start a business, I'll help you buy your new home, it doesn't take into account the number of Americans out there that say, I'm not thinking about starting a business. I'm not thinking about buying a home. I'm trying to feed my fucking family. Right? They fucked up. I can take the blame from my side. You should be able to do the same. It's not a contest like that for us. We all have to suffer and be rewarded for these people's choices. It's not you and me versus each other. At least it shouldn't be. Quiet Time is right. Quiet Time said Trump stated no policies. He said he promised he had a plan. He had a concept of a plan. It was the best plan. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay. Well, Michael Struckman says, I agree they focused on policy. They also hit the fascist rhetoric pretty hard. Well, you're talking about a guy who has said fascist things. What do you want these people to do? Right? He literally claimed the election was stolen from him when there was no evidence of it that was found to be credible. He literally, whether you want to call it a riot or an insurrection, let's agree that we're not going to agree on that. He literally sat off the Oval Office for 4 hours. His own staff testified this and was watching Fox News for 4 hours, even after he was told that they were going after Mike Pence. Then he tweeted out inflammatory shit about Mike Pence not doing his job. I'm sorry, but if it, quacks like a fascist, it doesn't mean that that's where their focus should have been necessarily, but they weren't wrong. He was saying those things. You don't think that's, I don't know, for me, that kind of shit's disqualifying, but clearly not for a lot of you guys, and that's fine. Kamala gave zero details in what she wanted to do to help the American people. What are you talking about? I think this is probably Mike Warrior, who I kicked off my channel because all he wants to do is argue. But I want you to think about this. I literally just gave you her small business plan and her home buyer plan. And then I may not have said, but the way she said, people say, well, how are you going to pay for that? She said, oh, we're going to tax people who make over $400,000 more than they're used to being taxed, and that will cover it. She had 30 economists when Trump had none who said her plan was better for the economy. Why would you type that she gave zero details? And my fear, Mike, is that you're typing that because the media you consume told you that, and you chose not to go somewhere like Ground News and fact check it. And then you wrote, and she focused on killing babies and cheering it on like the demonic fool she is. Gee, Mike, why do I think you're not properly dialed in to the actual policies in the discussions at above an 8th grade level, but instead you're focused on the drama of it? I don't know why I would think that from such a nuanced, interesting statement. I just can't get my head around that. Reading the chat. Sorry, fellas, I haven't had a stroke. Uncle Fuzznet says you have to admit they twisted his words. I wouldn't say every time he spoke, but here's what I'll say on that. Yes, there were some things he was attributed to saying that even I was shocked when I went back and looked at them, and I'm like, he didn't say that. Like the both sides thing. I was convinced that he had said there are good people on both sides of the white nationalist Nazi movement or whatever they called themselves and the protesters. And that is not what he said. Do I think he believes that there are? Probably. But to be fair, no, he didn't say that. But, and you know, it was pretty easy to prove he didn't say that. So I do think they should have done a better job of recognizing that it's easy. Here's the difference though. The Democrats get caught, as they should, when they lie about things like that. Trump lies all the time, and you guys don't care. So, again, if I'm going to hold my candidate accountable and say, you know, even when Kamala was debating Trump, and she said about the both sides thing, I'm sitting there going, dude, don't say that. That makes you look like such a fucking idiot. Don't claim something that's so verifiably false just to score points with people who aren't time rich enough to do the research, because he didn't say that and she knows better. But when he turns around and says, kids are going to school and they're coming home and they're like, hey, mom, I've changed gender and the nurse told me this. It's not happening. I know firsthand how it works. Forget the fact I have a trans son. I had children go through the school system in California. These motherfucking kids, you know, it's a trope now. It's a cliche. But when people say you can't get a Tylenol from the school nurse without a fucking note from the parent, I guarantee you in California, that's true. You think they're going to the nurse's office and coming home with a penis cut off? What's the matter with you? That when Trump says that, I guess that's what's happening. Right? You should hold your guy accountable just like I hold Kamala accountable. But you guys, for some reason, don't seem to. I don't know why. So don't say she gave zero details into how she's helping them. That's just dumb. You're either not engaged enough or smart enough to contribute to this conversation, which means, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, it's okay to not be smart about something. Go read, go watch documentaries, go get smarter about it. I don't know what your job is, Mike, but I'm probably not smart enough when it comes to what your job is to do your job. But this is a passion of mine. I'm interested in it. And I have the time to be interested in it. So I do my homework and I read multiple news sources because I don't want to be bamboozled by all of the news sources that are in business primarily because they keep us divided. But when you come in here and you say something that's verifiably, easily provable false, and then you act like you deserve a seat at this table, I'd like to think that you go, you know what? I don't agree with Jaffe politically at all. But he at least offers up some facts and not just talking points. And when he does offer up talking points that are wrong, like the both sides thing, and people tell me and show me I'm wrong, I go, oh, I was wrong. I got tricked. Nothing wrong with getting tricked. It's easy to get tricked these days. The problem is when your ego is such that you won't admit, oh, I was wrong. Most people are wrong. How can you not be wrong with all the disinformation out there? I don't get it. Okay. Oh, shut up, Uncensored. This is boring. Is it? Is the future of America boring? Hey, it's free chat. I'll talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. I don't care. We talked about UFOs. We talked about video games. It is free chat. It's not because of the media I consume. Brad Skagg, let me show you the media I consume. Here it is. Let me show you. Turtle, I'll get you in a minute. This is most of my media. It's called Ground News. Trust me, no, I don't take money from this. I would, because I think it's a great fucking service. And I'm getting it for holiday presents for some people. Look at this, though. Trump picks ex-Congressman Doug Collins for Veterans Affairs Secretary. I don't know anything about that. But I do know that the left covered it a little bit more than the right, but the center covered it a lot. Okay, let's go to the blind spots. Tommy Tuberville, fucking moron from Alabama. We're going to try to get you out of the Senate if you vote against Trump. Fine. He has a right to say that. The left covered at 67%. The right only covered at 17%. They tell you who owns the papers, who owns the services. They tell you who might have accurate reporting and who has sketchy reporting. Here's my blind spot feed. I don't know if I'm signed in on this right now. Let's see what the right or the left is not reporting. Laura Trump, I would seriously consider replacing Rubio if the Senate. The right covered it. The left didn't cover it at all. The lack of covering news is just as bad as fake news. Biden backs controversial road through wildlife. The left covered it. The right didn't. Right? This is important shit. But that's what I do. That's what I fucking do. That's what people should do. But I get it. I get it. I understand. Pub Monkey says we should have a max age. No one over 70 should be running for office. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I mean, I don't know if you could get it passed, but I don't disagree. Yeah, ground news is great because ground news, I mean, whether they care or they don't care, their number one goal is trying to make the news transparent. Right. So, I mean, you can take a subject that's really out there. I don't know. I haven't done their search much. Let's see. Let's say RFK, remove fluoride, right? That's one of the rumors. Now, I haven't researched this. But let's see, Trump to consider some of his anti-vaccine and fluoride policies. Okay, so if you really wanted to dive into this, I need to sign in. I don't know why it's giving me a limit. So Trump considers move on vaccines and fluoride with the help of RFK. Right now, it doesn't get into the details in the headline, but you can go, there's a high factuality that may be true. Very high factuality coming from MedPage Today. Okay, well, MedPage, let's see who owns it. What is their vested interest in reporting things? They cover health, medical, politics, blah, blah, blah. MedPage Today's media bias is center. They work with multiple sources to determine, there's like 3 different companies they work with to cover, what level of centrist they are or not. They tell you who owns it. It's good stuff. Mike says Trump had no wars. Biden had no wars. You're going to blame Biden for what Putin did? You're going to blame Biden for what Hamas did that prompted Netanyahu? Give me a break. Kyler says, Jaffe, here's my question. What do you got, buddy? Do you think Xbox will overtake PlayStation in the next 20 years? I don't mean it's impossible, like I can't read the future. I mean, it's impossible, like you're basically standing at the precipice right now of some very seismic changes. In 20 years, 95% of people will get their home video game entertainment just like they get their movies, which is streaming. That's how I already get mine. Okay. And it's perfection. PlayStation and Xbox both have their feet in that pool. Xbox's is better, but it wouldn't take Sony that much time to improve their service in terms of just quality streaming. GeForce is the best right now. Amazon's is pretty good too. I also think that when you look at these budgets, what has put Sony over the top the last 10 plus years has been an ability to make great games at a very, very high budget, because that's looking less and less sustainable every day in that industry. I think their talent, if they can figure out a way to put their talent into whether it's AI helping bring the cost down of graphic fidelity or just making games that connect with people that don't have to be so expensive, I think they have a better opportunity to do that, but they haven't really shown a willingness or a talent at being able to really be successful outside of that kind of game in the last 10 years, other than maybe Helldivers and MLB The Show. So I don't know, but it's a very, very hard question to answer, actually, for those reasons. Jojo D, we will be doing video game awards, but it won't be until March because there's so many fucking games that we need to play that there's no way we'll get them done by November or December or whatever it is. I think that's a ridiculous thing. Okay. All right, let me see. I'll bring in P Turtle in just a second. Zank, thank you for the super chat. Zanark, thank you, buddy. He says, Jaffe, always appreciate you spending time with us common folks. Yeah. Also an AI generated channel to the Discord already. What would that be? What do you mean? I did an AI co-hosted Gavin and Games yesterday. I was just curious about it and I didn't want to do a live show. And a lot of people hated it. They're like, don't ever fucking do that again, Jaffe. What do you mean, Zanark? An AI you mean like AI art? I think we had one of those. We can bring it back if that's what you mean. Thank you, buddy, for that super chat. I appreciate it, man. Very generous of you. Okay. All right, let me bring on the turtle. Here we go. God knows he won't show us his face because it's P Turtle. P Turtle, what's up?
Hold on, I gotta turn the camera off.
Yeah, sure you do. Oh, hopefully we would get just a quick image. Quick image. Are you there? He doesn't even know what he's doing. He doesn't even know what he's doing. Are you there, P Turtle? All right. Why hasn't episodic game development ever worked? Says Collide. Like making and releasing a game in small segments. I think honestly, because yeah, hang on, P Turtle. I'll bring you on in 1 second. Don't go anywhere. I think honestly, most games are not written all that well, and what makes people and most games wear out their welcome at a mechanics level. Like there, here's a great example. Episodic gaming does work. It's called Fortnite. It's called Marvel Snap. It's called Hearthstone. It's called World of Warcraft. It works when the medium builds on what makes the medium unique and special, which is interactivity. And so every month I pay $9 to Marvel Snap because they introduce enough new content that genuinely offers me new ways to play in a world that I've already fallen in love with through the first group of seasons. But if you're talking about like Telltale and whatever, I think sometimes you have to wait too long, but other parts is that it's very rare a game is written so well that you're like, I'm playing it for that reason, at least at a large enough level to justify the budget. There is, and I'm going to talk about this on tomorrow's show, but there are things happening, even though that Silent Hill game that was done with J.J. Abrams' company and it was kind of interactive was just terrible. The idea isn't bad where you're voting, you play these little mini games on your phone and you get story tokens and you vote to affect the outcome of the story the next week. And they're starting one next week called, it's a Justice League cartoon. And it sounds like it has a better shot of working. So I think if it's a well-written thing, people will continue to tune in. But I think the problem is a lot of these, it's not that the Telltale games weren't well written, but they weren't so amazingly written and amazing to play that you were like, oh my God, I have to come back every week or every month or whatever it was. That's what I would say. Okay. All right, P Turtle, what's going on? P Turtle. P Turtle, where are you? Oh, Mike, shut up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hang on. Don't go anywhere. If Kamala, Mike, if Kamala had a plan and was able to give real details, she had 4 years to try to implement them. Do you I can't. You guys, tell me in the chat. This guy's a troll, right? I mean, she wasn't the president, right? You understand that the vice president doesn't set policy or veto or what's the matter with you? Michael?
Can you hear me?
Yes, P Turtle, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, do you know that, first of all, her and Joe Biden said she was very instrumental in getting policy passed.
Of course she
okay,
said
and
that.
then when they asked her many times, and this was one of the big reasons why data showed that she didn't get voted in by undecided voters, was because when they asked her, she said she wouldn't do anything that differently from Joe Biden. So what are you talking about, my friend?
Well, hang on.
You can absolutely blame her for the past 3.
Stop. I'm going to mute you. If we're not going to have, because we're going to have a conversation. I'm not in the mood.
Yeah, but you can't just.
Okay, I muted him. Let me answer his question. So yes, she did give that interview. It wasn't very wise. I don't know if she, it's unfortunate that she didn't basically say there were some things I agreed with and some things I didn't, but my job as the vice president is to carry the water for the guy that was elected by the country, and that was Joe Biden. And I was there and I did the best I could. And some things like this, that, and the other I agreed with, and some things I thought were not what I would have done. But P. Turtle is right. She did not say that. And that was a mistake on her part. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt. No doubt. See, that's how that works.
Now I've been unmuted.
Yes, because you ask a question and I'm trying to answer it. And instead
I didn't ask a question. I was putting you in your place.
Well, I explained it. Okay, I'm turning him off again. I explained it. I responded to it. Now, P. Turtle, what would you like to talk about next?
Oh, okay. This is a dictatorship. You are Donald Trump, my friend.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
No, the other thing I was calling in about, because you were blaming everybody about, you were blaming the Republicans about, you're believing everything they're selling about trans people. It's not just them. The reason why they were able to sell those fears and people were buying them is because your side was doing a whole bunch of stuff and putting trans and gays and all this weird stuff everywhere that made it seem like it was more of an issue.
Give me an example.
The Last of Us 2. You have
Kamala Harris and Biden worked in The Last of Us 2. By the way, that game was released when Trump was in office.
I'm talking about people's perception of what was going on and seeing trans issues everywhere. Seeing that. Look, do you remember, what was it, about 4 years ago when Kamala came on stage? I think she was running for president in 2020, the first time. In the primaries. And she goes up to Chris Cuomo and she says, hi, how you doing, everybody? And I just want to let you know, my pronouns are she and her. Great. And then Chris Cuomo was like, yeah, mine too. And the crowd's laughing and everybody's looking. This stuff was everywhere. And let me just tell you, I live in New York and in real life.
Wait. I think the Democrats, and look, I think the Democrats did a very poor job at messaging and at understanding that, and I think the left, I think the left has done a very poor job when it comes to if the goal is to politely bring people over to their side when it comes to some of these progressive issues. Now that may not be the goal. People, I don't know enough about Malcolm X, for example, or I don't know enough about Harvey Milk with the gay rights, for example.
He was a pedophile.
Sorry?
He was a pedophile. That's not even a joke. You can look that up.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way he worked to bring about civil rights for their specific group.
God knows what other rights he wanted to bring, but go ahead.
Right. So there is a point where you have to ask a marginalized people, and it's not different in a lot of ways, not Hamas, but the Palestinians, where it's like, you know what, we can only be nice and quiet and subservient and wait our turn for so long. And then we're just going to be like, enough is fucking enough. And we're going to be aggressive, not always, thank God, physically aggressive, although tragically that sometimes happens. But I would never deny black folks with the civil rights or gay folks or trans folks from being like, you know what, we're not playing nice. We're not going to worry about your comfort. But do I think allies of all of those might have been better allies by carrying the water for you guys go be as angry as you have a right to be and demand change like you have a right to demand it. But we will be a buffer where we'll try to make it easier for people who don't necessarily agree with or understand. And I think the left in this case did overstretch and overreach. And I think that hurt him. Absolutely.
Another thing is that she said she wanted good, hard American who taxpayer dollars to go to help transition people in prison.
Yeah,
right?
she did.
And
she did
there
say
was
that.
actually, let me get this out, goddammit.
I know.
And there was,
I mean, that's what you got
and
out.
there was, this is important. There was data that showed that the most effective ad that Trump and his campaign ran
yes.
was that ad showing the two black guys saying, who are very pro Kamala Trump. They have some radio show saying, we don't want our money going towards funding transgender prisoners. And they ran that ad on football games. They ran it during the World Series. And that was their most effective ad. What I'm saying is the thing that you're blaming the Republicans for, they were getting alley-oops from your side because your side was doing that stuff.
Okay.
They were talking about that stuff.
Okay. Well, Kamala was talking about that stuff and I don't think it was recent, but again, this is a problem the Democrats have, is that Donald Trump out and out lies and doesn't care, and people don't care that he lies. But I don't know if that same pass is given to any politician on either side other than Trump for whatever reason. Maybe they just look at him and say, poor thing. I don't know why. Okay. But the Democrats' mistake is that they assume nuance works ever other than like in a court of law. Right. Mm-hmm. So if you want to look at the value of taxpayer money going for prisoners that are suffering from gender dysphoria, you have to look at it at a semi-nuanced level, because all of your money already goes for the mental health of prisoners. All of your money, if a prisoner gets cancer and doesn't have the money, our tax dollars will help him fight that cancer or help her fight that cancer, right? Gender dysphoria is whether or not you are someone who believes in trans rights every day, all day, forever, which you should, or you have a problem with trans folks, which you should not. Fundamentally, though, it is a diagnosis right now that says, hey, if you have that, there is value. There are different philosophies on how it is treated, but it's no different than like, oh my God, this guy has an eating disorder, or this guy has cancer, and we need to do something. Now, if you want to say, and then you want to look at the statistics of, well, maybe part of why they found themselves on the wrong side of the law is the culture was never accepting of them, or maybe they will make better model prisoners who can be reformed if they have this aspect of them dealt with, just like cancer or eating disorder or whatever, then cool. But instead, what you're saying is the Republicans knew enough to treat their voters as very simple-minded people that go, yeah, I don't like that. I don't want my money going to that. Instead, where the Democrats were like, it's nuanced. It's shades of gray. I don't like shades of gray. I don't need no shades of gray.
It wasn't nuanced. And when they asked her about it,
explained it to you in a nuanced
yeah, and you're
way.
wrong. And I'm saying when they asked her about it,
no, wait a minute. You don't get to say I'm wrong without telling me how I'm wrong. If I'm wrong about my take on why giving gender affirming care to prisoners is valuable, just like we're giving cancer care or eating disorder care to prisoners is valuable, then explain to me why I'm wrong.
Because, which is why a lot of women voted for Trump now, right?
No. That's
hold on. I'm gonna
you.
explain it. I'm saying this is a reason. Oh my God, just shut up.
Nah, it's my fucking show, bitch.
Yeah, but I'm your co-host, and you need to treat me with respect.
Oh, are you really? Okay, fair.
No, but nevertheless, the reason. See, now I lost my train of thought. What'd you ask me?
I asked you if you say my take on gender dysphoria.
Oh, I'm saying that was a big reason why women voted for Trump, because a lot of people are not okay with giving transgender reassignment surgeries or hormones or anything like that to prisoners, because now they feel like you're putting women in prisons at risk. They look at that as anti-women.
Okay. So
while that's something you might want and think transgender people need, normal people like me and most of your chat are still saying, well, we don't want them to have that because you're putting women at risk, just like with the sports. And guess what? That woman that everybody was claiming wasn't a man. It turns out she is a man. It just came out recently.
Wait a minute. So let's take your train of thought for a minute. So then what you're saying, and I don't agree with you, but that's fine. But what you're saying is the real issue that a lot of people have with giving prisoners gender reassignment therapy is that if you are a trans woman, then you will go into the female population, and because you attribute the same sports stuff to prisoners, that's not safe for women, right? That's the.
But it's already come out that they were getting other women pregnant.
Okay,
yeah,
so
they were getting other women pregnant.
Okay, so then what you would also agree with then is you have no problem with your tax dollars going to give gender assignment therapy to trans men then, right? Because that doesn't. Of
course I do. Well, me personally,
why would that bother you? You're worried about an assigned at birth female going into maximum security prison and hurting the men, the born as men or identified as men.
I think you would be putting the trans men at risk if you did that. So if you care about people, hold on.
Okay.
If you care about people, you wouldn't want that to happen.
So now you're saying the issue is you just care about people.
Who says I don't care about people?
Dude, there are plenty of prisoners that are at risk all day, every day. Suddenly this tiny percentage of the population is the one that you want to throw your vote on? Is like, well, no, I don't want trans men in prison either. Because come on, you are transphobic. You don't like trans people.
No. I don't hate
trans people. You don't like gay people. You are transphobic. And I would respect you more if you just said it.
I have said it. I've said it before on your show, but it's not that I hate them. It's I hate the act. If you take a gay man, right, and he stops being gay, and that's happened. Not that I know
personally. Gay men never stop being gay. That's a ridiculous concept.
No. I'm talking about the action. Stop sleeping with men, and they try to live a normal life. I would respect that guy. I wouldn't hate him.
Carl says turtle makes actual turtles look smart. Oh, I agree.
And you know what? That's messed up. But anyway, at the end of the day, it comes back to. And did you see AOC today? By the way,
no,
she took the pronouns out of her bio. Your side knows they fucked up, and they went all in with the transgendered stuff, and now they realize they have to pull away from that. Why did AOC take the she/her out of her bio?
I can't speak to AOC.
She's like the most progressive person on your side.
I am progressive enough, and I know enough trans people that when it was explained to me why having pronouns in your bio is kind and respectful, I put them in my bio. I don't give a fuck if you don't. I don't give a fuck if AOC took them out, put them in. It made sense to me.
I'm saying that is an example. I get why it makes sense to you. I'm saying it's an example of people seeing that and starting to realize, wait, is this everywhere? Why are all these people that make my movies and games have all these pronouns in their bios? Well,
because they're doing it, kids, you moron. People who make your entertainment, just like the people who go to the rodeo and ride the bulls, tend to be the bullies at high school that beat up on you and put you in the locker. The people who go in the back and make your fucking movies and games and books, we're the kids with the glasses and the nerds that you didn't like very much back in high school. That's what we became. We became liberal and leftist and artistic. You want to be an artist and you're in the GOP, that's great. But more often than not, you're going to be watching movies with Scott Baio and John Schneider and the guy who played Hercules. And that's fine.
Kevin Sorbo.
That's fucking fine. But don't act as if.
That's fine. But I'm saying, Jeffy, that's one of the reasons why you lost because your side is so progressive. Let me get this out.
I don't care that we lost. I didn't lose my way.
I'm telling you, you're going to keep losing.
We didn't lose our souls.
You're going to keep losing, and I'm telling you why. Because you guys could have just stopped putting this in Marvel. You could have stopped putting this in video games. And all these people who were big fans of those genre films and these big budget games would not have woken up and seen what was going on. They would have been allowed to escape, but you and your side did not allow people to escape. And because of that, most of the country went right. And if you continue doing it, they're going to continue going right.
And that's
I hope you guys continue doing it.
And you know what? As a black man, I hope you are very comfortable not being able to use the same restrooms as us white folks.
Why? Yeah, I would love to have my own bathroom. That'd be great.
You wouldn't have
if I were black.
First off, you are black. Number one. Second off, the point is, just because you lose some elections, that doesn't mean that you stop fighting for what is important to you. one of the things that the Republicans do really well, but also makes them, I think, problematic, is they put winning above everything else. And I don't mean all of them, but that's sort of a conservative principle. Winning above all else tends to be more stomachable on the right than the left. And I would rather go down fighting a fight that I believed in than basically win, but have to have sold my soul to do it. So you know what? If being inclusive and being kind and being accepting of people who are different or people I don't understand is going to lose elections, okay, fine with me.
I get that. That's fine for you. We're talking about the Democrats. Do you really think Kamala cares about all this? She didn't.
I think Kamala cares about it more than Trump does. You want to argue that Trump's a man of the people? Are you out of your fucking mind?
I'm not arguing he's a man of the people. He's a winner, and he won.
Okay, great. He won.
Yeah.
Great.
But his winning helps my side, not yours. So if he's going to do anything to win, and it's going to please my side, that's great. Your side lost. Now they realize that the identity politics and the real woke stuff is not going to help them, and they're probably going to be more moderate. Hopefully, maybe they'll learn.
Hey, that's fine. It's a big country, and in order to win an election, you know, I would like to think more than anything, whoever is in office is actually going to. Here's what I would love to see happen. I would love to see whoever. Let's say Trump actually is able to get things done. I would love to see people make
Hold on, I'm
money.
sorry. Somebody said P Turtle is an N. What the F?
I would like to see Trump make people more money across the board, not just rich people, not just people with stocks. I would like everybody. I'd like, you think Trump's going to be out? I mean, think about this for a minute. Do you really think Donald Trump is going to be at the forefront of pushing for a national hike in the minimum wage? Do you think Donald Trump is going to be out there pushing for universal base income as people lose more and more of their jobs because of AI and because of automation? Do you really think he's going to do that? Or do you think what he's going to do is side with the big corporations?
I don't think he's going to do either.
Really? Okay, good.
Well, I don't think
you have a lot more faith in him than I do.
Yeah, listen. When you look at who he's bringing in office, he's bringing in people that even Republicans are scared of. Whenever you have John Bolton that's scared and saying, "Oh, you should nominate this guy," that's the guy you should nominate.
Really,
Matt Gaetz, that's the guy you want. What, you want a neocon like John Bolton to tell you who or who should not be in the?
I would rather.
So now Attorney General.
I want you to think about this. You've basically got Donald Trump, who was found guilty of rape, sexual assault.
Not really, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really. Sexual assault, really. A jury found him. It wasn't the deep state. It was a jury.
Yeah, they think he raped the woman that said that rape is sexy. Did you ever see that interview?
I don't care what she said. You can say, can say, do it. I'm not going to say the word because it'll hit my stream, but you can say army, 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 army all day long. And the minute you do it, and she says, no, don't do it, and you do it, you're a rapist. Mm-hmm. Okay? You are.
No, Joe Biden had accusations too that even Kamala agreed with. His own vice president said he was a rapist. R-word,
and
whatever.
If Joe Biden did it, his ass should be in fucking jail. That's the difference between your side and mine. You think I want a rapist as the president? If Joe Biden molested kids, then put his ass in fucking jail.
No, we just know that this is a tactic that happens on your side. The same thing happened with Kavanaugh. The woman that claims that he R-worded her.
You've got the Attorney General, Matt Gaetz.
The guy Kavanaugh said that was accused of R-wording this woman. She couldn't even remember when it happened, where it happened, and your side made a whole big thing because you didn't want him to be on the justice, the Supreme Court justice. You guys are awful, and you pull that stuff all the time. That's why a lot of my side is a little cautious. We want a little bit more of the facts. When you bring a woman that was crazy like E.G. Carroll on, and she's saying R-word is sexy, da-da-da-da, who's going to look at that and say, "Oh yeah, I believe this woman"? Even Anderson Cooper.
I think in a lot of ways you're going to believe somebody like that more, who's willing to say, "Yeah, I said all kinds of crazy shit," but you know what? Saying crazy shit does not give you a rape for free card.
We don't know that he did. I don't think he did.
Okay, so then you have, which is fine, by the way. Look, as a black man, not me, you. I would have very little faith in the justice system, but right now that's all we've got. We've got a jury trial that apparently was not.
I have no faith in the justice system.
Okay, well then that's fine that you don't.
Because look at what they did to what's his name, the guy that killed George Floyd. They railroaded that guy. They absolutely did. If you look into that, There's
okay,
a
I don't wanna talk
documentary.
about that right now because I listen.
Derek Chauvin, that guy.
I
Go ahead.
know. I got to get a super chat though. I don't agree with that, but I got to. But listen though, I want to talk about Matt Gaetz real quick. Matt Gaetz is accused of having sex with a minor.
17-year-old. Yeah, I remember.
Well,
that, yeah.
she wasn't in New York, was she, Turtle?
I don't know. Where was it?
It wasn't New York because that's what you always tell us.
I know.
It's legal.
No, but I
in New
told
York.
you most states are the age of consent.
Well,
is
anyway,
16.
the point is, it just seems weird that whatever you think of John Bolton, and I don't like John Bolton for a couple.
No
of
one
reasons,
likes John Bolton. John Bolton doesn't like John Bolton.
Eyebrows doesn't match his fucking mustache. It's like Jesus, dude. But that said though, certainly between a neocon and Matt Gaetz,
rapist? We have two presidents.
You can find a better attorney general than Matt Gaetz. Sometimes I get the sense
a lot of people like what he did getting Kevin McCarthy out as the Speaker of the House. What he did there, and
Kevin McCarthy pretty much said, "Look, if I'm going to expose you for what you did," and
guess what? What Matt Gaetz did was still work. He gathered the troops, and they made sure he was no longer Speaker of the House. That's stuff that we like to
I'm
see.
going to let you go. Yes. No one likes.
Oh, listen, I know you're going to let me go. Can I say one thing?
Yeah. Can you say one thing? I don't know, Turtle. Can you say one thing?
I swear to God, I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah.
I just want you to. I'm being dead serious when I say this. If you guys want to have a chance next election, you got to cut the shit with the video games and the movies and entertainment. Let people escape. If not, it's going to be the same thing. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, I really don't care about that.
Okay.
So.
Thank you for letting me school you, Jack.
Listen, hey, listen,
yeah.
Idiot. Yeah. Listen, idiot. Can you hear me, idiot?
Yeah.
Listen to me. We have to have our Call of Duty Last Stand media battle this week. So hit me up on Discord tonight or tomorrow and let's schedule that so we can decide if you're on the team or not.
Okay, cool.
All right. See you, dude.
All right, man. Later.
Let me get this super chat real quick. This is Ludo. Hey, buddy. Thank you, buddy. He says, Jaffe, what do you think about CERN laboratory facility? Sounds to me like Half-Life 2 underground lab doing top secret research. Well, I mean, this is the particle accelerator that, I mean, I don't fucking know. Here's what I'll tell you. I don't put it past them or any organization to do shit and cut corners to make money or get ahead. So if one day suddenly, like Dr. Octopus's, power of the sun in the palm of your hand, suddenly the entire world just blinks out of existence and we have sentience beyond our physical bodies and someone says, oh, that was because of CERN. I go, yeah, it sounds about right. I like scientists. I don't think you go into a business like science, which mostly doesn't make you any fucking money or get you laid or get you powered because you want to get laid or get money or get power. You do it because you love the truth and you love the scientific method and you believe in pursuing the truth. I don't think their hearts are in the wrong place, but do I think it would be possible that a bunch of bureaucracy and a bunch of egos get in there and fuck shit up? Yeah, of course, which sucks, but I just hope to live long enough to get off this fucking planet. I can't handle it. I can't handle it anymore, you old so-and-sos. Fellas, that's been the Free Swim Thursday. I'm back tomorrow with the proper Gabbing and Games. Again, this channel, I may even delete this or put it members only because this is not a political channel. I'm a very political guy, but I appreciate when you come here and you want to talk about video games. That's what you want to talk about. So maybe I'll leave this up on Twitter. I'll leave it up on Twitch and I'll take it off YouTube. But I like doing the free chats from time to time because sometimes it's fun to talk about things that aren't just video games. So I hope you enjoyed the chat. Super chats, thank you. New members, welcome. Mike, I'll tell you what, I'm convinced that you're a troll. But if you want to call in and discuss the atheist thing, we can do that. But you have to call in, right? Oh, fuck you, Bukaki. Because I'm not gonna fight you over chat. But if you want to call in, because he says I have no science that proves my non-beliefs. He thinks because I'm an atheist, I have to have science to prove but again, if you want to actually get on the microphone, then I'll take you serious. I don't have to see your face. You can hide your face. But what I don't want to do is deal with you. So if, when it comes to text, because I think you're a grade A troll and it's kind of, I'm not in the mood for it. But if you really believe the shit you're selling, then, here's the link. and I'll give you a few minutes to decide. And if not a problem. We'll wrap it up, my friends. There you go. There's the link. You can call in now. Call in now. Tyler says, I reckon Jaffe will order Taco Bell now because they brought back the green burrito. I actually got to run to Ralph's and pick up groceries. I ordered them, but and they're ready, but I haven't. I got to go over and get them. All right, let's see if he's going to actually call in. I don't think he's going to. Mike, call in, you keyboard warrior, says Billy Bones. Yeah. Let's see. Call in. Everybody wants him to call in. There's no number. It's a link on the screen. Click the link, get on your microphone. I don't have a microphone. Get on the microphone, and there you go. No number. It's 2024. What the fuck do you mean? Where's my number? Here's the link. I'll put it up again if you missed it. Click it. Click that son of a bitch. What do you think, fellas? You think he's going to do it? I don't think he's going to do it. Maybe he'll surprise us. Oh, he's on a tablet. You can use a tablet. So what? Look at this shit. He won't do it. He won't do it. I'm waiting. Look at him. Look at him, you guys. I'm goading him, though. Oh, you know. It's okay. You don't want to call in, Michael. No problem. All right. Well, there you go. There's the link if anybody wants to call in real quick before we wrap it up. Otherwise, I'm heading out to the grocery store. So my 3 favorite top TV dramas. Oh, man, Ivan. I mean, I can tell you ones I love. I adore with all my heart and soul. I love The West Wing. I love The Diplomat, which is season 2 just dropped on Netflix. I loved the entire series of Madam Secretary. All these are political, by the way, as you can tell. These aren't dramas, but they have drama elements. I loved The Good Place. I love Community. A lot, really. Hell, I love Cobra Kai. Even though I don't like this new season, I need to go back. I want to finish it, though. Look at that. See, he's not calling in. What a baby. This is what I'm saying, Mike. This is how you know when the rubber meets the fucking road, right? Is when you basically talk your shit behind a keyboard, but you don't have the stones to be. And there he is. I knew it would work. Mike Warrior, there he is. No, I think here. Okay, so let's talk specifically about your comment about atheism and science. Go.
Right. You go first. Go ahead.
I got nothing to say. You're the one who came at me. So what do you think I'm wrong about?
I would just love to know your proof on what you believe in.
Okay, be more specific. What aspect of what I believe in? What do you mean?
What makes you believe that there is no such thing as a God?
Well, I'm an atheist agnostic. Are you aware of that?
So you think that there's a possibility that there could be something?
I think that there is a possibility, or more importantly, I don't know what is going on. I'm going to mute you while I talk because there's an echo. I don't know what's going on. And yeah, Bill Bones says big ups, Mike. I agree. Thank you for calling in. Take some balls. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we were created, if we were a happy accident, if we're in a simulation. I have no clue. I don't think we as humans right now have a brain that can really comprehend any of it. And so I am agnostic in that sense. I am an atheist when it comes to traditional religions that exist right now that we are aware of, whether you're talking about Judaism or you're talking about Christianity or we're talking about Islam or Hinduism. I think all of that is clearly not accurate, not real, and not true. Is it somehow based on something that might be true? Because in our very DNA, we are wired to have an awareness maybe of something, that we have a remnant of awareness of where we came from, and that became the foundation of these religions, possibly. But when you're talking about Yahweh or Jesus or Muhammad or Buddha or any of that, no, I am totally atheist on all of that.
All right. You do know that there's like over 5,000 transcripts that date back to the 1st century, right?
Okay. There are 5,000 transcripts that date back to the year after Christ was born.
Within 100 years, actually it's like 30 to 70 years.
Okay.
And they have, if you cross-reference all those documents, you will see similarities in all of them that come to one conclusion: that there was a Jesus, that there is a creator, and there's by many different people and over 500 eyewitnesses. So there's more documentation and proof that there's actually something than nothing. And
yeah, but I would
argue historical evidence of the Romans, of Israel, and Bethlehem and Nazareth. All that stuff is real. All those places are real.
Sure.
It's okay. I mean, do you believe that Alexander the Great existed?
I have no reason to doubt he existed or doubt.
There's no eyewitnesses. Nobody knows for a fact.
If somebody came out and said that that's not the case, that he didn't,
but what I'm saying is, you're putting
just like
more
Shakespeare.
Faith,
people come out and say, "Oh, Shakespeare was
you're putting more faith in humans than actually than a creator."
Well, because there's no evidence of a creator.
When you
There's
step on an airplane,
there's plenty of evidence of humans.
The humans who made the airplane to get you from point A to point B, but yet you have no faith in God. That if you look at the cell,
well, are you going to let me respond to you?
There's more information in our cell than in like 3 editions of encyclopedia.
Cool.
Okay,
that's awesome.
Okay, you can't get nothing from something from
so
nothing.
Let me explain this to you. One thing I've already explained, and then there's okay. So here's the number one thing. As I've said, do I think there is a possibility that there was some conscious intent behind who we are today? Whether that was a godlike creator or an alien race or a programmer or just evolution? Yeah, all those things are quite possible, but I don't really know, and neither do you, and no one else does either. But the second part of it, the idea of you can't get something from nothing, right? That's the part that I really I don't take issue with it, but I struggle with, because my brain doesn't work that way. In the same way that if you own pets and you look at your dog and you love your dog and your dog is sweet and he's smart for a dog and all of this stuff, but when I put my dog in an elevator and we go up 5 floors and those doors open, to the dog, we walk into this box and we walk out of the box and we're somewhere else. It's like a TARDIS, right? And things smell different. And maybe he's got some idea of the tracking of the verticality of the smell, but he doesn't have any consciousness of what an elevator is and how it works and why we don't just take the stairs, right? And that's because he doesn't have the same brain capacity that we do, okay? In the same way, I am very open to the fact that we are not developed enough, and we may never be capable of being developed enough to understand a lot of these things. And so in that, my response is agnosticism, which is, I don't fucking know. I don't think I have the brain power to know. I don't think, Einstein had the brain power to know. Your response to it is, well, I see it this way. And because I see it this way, instead of going, I can't possibly really understand it because we're not smart enough yet, thus I will attribute it to a bunch of things that we can prove have been made up. That is why.
All right. No. Okay. Here, we're not supposed to understand it. We're supposed to have free will, and we're supposed to have faith. Well, I mean, you make decisions all the time. That's you having free will.
We probably don't have free will, but that's a different conversation.
Really?
Scientifically, no, we're not. Scientifically speaking, we probably don't have free will. And frankly, if there is a creator or there is a kind of thing that you would call God, there are probably intelligences that are capable of being able to read so many more of the markers that if we could just see, the reason you finally decided, Mike Warrior, to click, think about that. The reason you clicked the link to call into this show Maybe you think that's free will, but a really smart, like Paul Atreides on The Spice kind of guy, if you know that reference, would be able to track back every decision at a level of, microscopic biology and explain why your brain arrived at the point where it would say click, right? That's what I'm saying. It's the idea of we simply don't have the ability to perceive why things happen. And in that, I think, yeah, we probably don't have free will.
So you could just decide to kill a person and you don't think that's a choice?
I do not think it. I mean, I don't know, but I would imagine no, it's not a choice. There is no choice.
Hitler didn't make a choice to kill millions of Jews.
No. If you're talking about free will, I think Hitler was a conscious entity, whatever that means, and the events of biology and not just biology but chemistry affected and gave rise to a number of things around him that made choices for what people called conscious people that affected him and his chemistry and his biology that led him to do the awful things he did. No, rape is not Wayne B, nothing is a choice if we don't have free will. But we don't really know if we have free will, but I don't think we do. I think it's been explained well enough that I would say.
You even talked about like your soul. You can't believe that you have a soul if you don't believe there's something. Maybe
we do. I mean, again, that's what I'm saying.
Where does your consciousness come from? I mean,
you're
saying that dogs don't have it. A rock isn't conscious.
Well, we don't know that. But listen for a moment, though. We don't know that. There is a philosophy out there that suggests that everything is conscious, that every single item, every cell has some version of consciousness. Do I believe that? I don't know.
Not everything's made up of a cell. Everything's made up of matter. But
if
stardust.
If you Google it, there is, I forget what it's called, but somebody in the chat can tell me. It's where there is that philosophy, but that's not my point. My point is, though, you seem to be, in my opinion, stuck on this. You need to step out of your own.
Well, because I've seen and read the Bible, and I've seen the place. There's places that it talks about that are actually real, and that gives me more proof of something than
you don't have proof. And if you believe it,
a non-believer has not provided one thing with proof at all.
What hasn't?
A non-believer has provided nothing with proof at all.
Okay, but a non-believer hasn't also provided proof that Donald Trump is actually a robot that can transform into a car, but that doesn't mean that's accurate.
Well, I'm just saying there's no proof, period. I'm saying there's actual proof in the Bible. There is no proof in the
Bible.
You've never read the Bible, then. You've never read the Bible.
I've read some of the Bible. It's really boring, so I stopped, but that's not the point.
There's actual historical proof in the Bible. Yes, there is.
Okay,
there's also proof that there was a flood. That's a fact.
There is absolutely no proof. There is no.
Yes, it was. I'm telling you, it was.
My sentence, Michael. You think I'm going to say that there's no proof there was a flood? That's not what I'm going to say. I'm going to say there is no proof that there is a flood. There was a flood that flooded the entire planet.
Okay.
And killed all of the creatures except the ones that were in Noah's boat. Okay. There's no proof of that, Mike.
Well, you're looking for actual, detailed proof of the ark. Okay.
Isn't that what proof is?
Okay, here's the thing. The problem is that to have faith, you have to see it for your own eyes.
Faith. I don't have any desire to have faith. I don't care to have faith.
That's the problem.
I don't have a problem.
It's.
I would argue you have a problem because you're easily manipulated by people who tell you what you want to hear.
You have no value in life. Then there's no value for you.
explain to me how I have no value, but I would suddenly get value if I believed in God.
God gives us purpose. That's why.
I have purpose.
What's your purpose? Just
my
to
purpose
procreate
is
on the earth, and that's it.
Well, my purpose is, at least as I see it, I raised kids. I entertained with my
But why does that
contributions.
matter?
I mean, I'm not done. I got a list, baby.
Okay.
I entertained with my contributions along with very talented other people, millions of people across the planet. I gave people escape. I gave them joy. I gave them happiness through our games. I raised kids with love and compassion. And now I give people.
But none of that matters.
I'm not done. And now I give people entertainment and escape with these shows, not at the same scale, but certainly enough to be meaningful to me.
But not have nothing to believe in.
I believe in nothing and I believe in everything. I believe in enough to say this is a weird, wacky place and a weird experience.
Yeah,
and if when I die,
kind of crazy how it just all happens out of a chaos and accident, not that something actually had a thought and actually created everything around us. That's
again,
amazing.
and what I'm saying to you is you may be right or you may be wrong. I don't know and you don't know, but you are ascribing. Let me finish. Let me finish. You are ascribing, though, a sense of logic that comes from your human brain without having, I would argue, the humbleness.
We're not supposed to understand. We're not
right, and I'm saying we don't understand it.
Yeah, we're not supposed to.
Yes, and I'm okay with that. I'm not saying I'm not saying that we're not supposed to.
I'm just saying look all around you and marvel at the creation, because
I can look all around me and I can marvel at it, but I don't have to ascribe a conscious being to it, although that may have been what happened.
You think it's all accident? You really think it's all accident?
Here, let me blow your mind if you're open to it for a moment.
Okay.
You saying I think it is all accident, what you have a hard time understanding is that you are looking around at this and going, it's so amazing, it's so detailed, how is this an accident? I look around and I go, we, with our brains and how they have evolved, of course, we're going to attribute a lot of things to being beautiful and amazing and complex, and we're going to want some reason to explain it. But you can have a creature that is so much wiser than us, that has so many better or so much better intelligence than us, that looks at our life and goes, can you believe that they live in and around that shithole that they call a forest? And
that's a possibility. Yeah, I'm sure.
Right. And so what I'm saying is, just like a dog doesn't understand algebra or an elevator, it's cool that it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
They're not conscious of the universe. Like we're the only creature that we know of that is conscious of the universe, which we're made up of.
Well, that's not accurate at all. We're not the only creature that's conscious of ourselves. There's been plenty of science recently.
No, I'm talking about of the universe.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
So think about that. We are the only creatures that understand the kind of stuff we understand.
That's what makes us special. That's what makes us special.
And think about how big the universe is. Now imagine there's at least 5 other species that have consciousness at our level or beyond, right? What they know, what they think, what they experience is probably not only different, but perhaps so much more advanced than us.
That's an if. I mean, that's an if.
It's all an if. There's more evidence.
Well, the universe is real, and we are conscious of the universe. We're the only creature that we know that we're conscious of. Basically, everything that we're made up of is of the universe. So basically, the universe is conscious of itself. We're the first. There
is a theory that all of the universe is consciousness, and we are all the same consciousness that are having these. Yeah, we don't know. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that weird? But I'm not going to sit here and lie about it and tell you, oh,
well, it's not lying. It's not lying.
It's lying.
It's not lying. No, it's not.
It's you wanting comfort. It's you wanting comfort. And I get it. Life is hard. Life is chaotic. It is scary. It makes no fucking sense to us. And I get that you would want, and I'm not saying that like I'm being patronizing, but I get that people would say, I get the community that comes from religion. I get some answers that come from religion. But end of the day, we don't know.
I think the lie is to deny history and to deny the written words of
Please
all these people.
prove to me one. Don't bore me. Give me one piece of proof that you say is historical. That
The Romans.
I do. And let me finish. I do believe that. Let me finish.
Caesar.
Let me finish. I'm not suggesting that Jesus as a guy and as a radical that was a leader of religions, blah, blah, blah. Not a leader of religions, but a leader of his group or his cult or whatever it was before it became Christianity. I'm not suggesting he didn't exist. I understand he probably did exist. I'm talking about all of the stuff that happened after or happened where he did these miracles, or that is in the New and the Old Testament, that there are
there's
all
eyewitnesses to the miracles.
There's eyewitnesses to all kinds of crazy shit, but that's ridiculous. If you're going to buy a bunch of bronze or Iron Age witnesses to something that happened, when even today you can convince people, oh, we all fucking saw it. We all saw this up in the sky and everybody wants to be part of it. And especially back then when you didn't want to be cast out of the community, there's a million reasons to explain why your eyewitness accounts that happened 2,000 plus years ago are probably not very hold up and courtable. So give me something else.
Well, I'm just saying, when you have multiple people.
No, give me something else. Eyewitnesses are not going to work from something that was 2,000 years ago.
You have multiple people writing about something and you cross-reference all this stuff and there's no contradictions in the.
There's tons of contradictions.
No, there isn't contradictions. There is not.
There are literally parts
of believe that there's contradictions, but then when you really understand what they're talking about.
Okay, so when you bend it and twist it enough, there's no contradictions. Okay.
Okay, point of views. Okay, let me give you an example. You see a car accident.
You see what?
And other people see a car accident.
Yes.
And you give the description, there's a car, there's a, I think it was a red car. And another person says, I think it was kind of like orangish.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying that there wasn't a car accident. It's just that people's point of view they're not perfect. Okay. But that's the whole point of when people are talking and writing.
But seriously, if I were to tell you, 2,000 years ago, we literally today in 2040 have politicians that can go up on TV and will leave permanent record or semi-permanent record behind of things they said that were lies. And then people will come into this chat and they will quote them like they are the gospel. Okay. And we all know that. And we can point to those on both sides of the political spectrum. And you believe that occurs, but you don't believe that 2,000 plus years ago, there were some people in a desert that were trying to get either community or.
It wasn't just some people though. I mean, it's hundreds. There's hundreds and there's thousands of documents.
There are, I simply look, if what you're saying is true, that would be huge news to the vast majority of the world. It's simply not accurate. Your documents may exist, but I think most of what you're calling facts is
all in Greek,
is easily debunkable and easily provable that you have to make some.
No, it hasn't been
make some logic. Send me. I can't do it right now because I got to run. But send me a link. Send me something that is verifiable proof that doesn't rely on going, oh, well, you have to believe the eyewitnesses because, I mean, let's do this, let's assume for the moment that's true. Well, then if that's true, God's an asshole, right? God's an asshole. Let me finish. God's an asshole. God's an asshole to all the people. Okay, God's an asshole to all the
destroyed them before.
He is an
games
asshole.
That you've never brought out.
He is an asshole.
David,
and here's
David,
what I'm telling you why he's an asshole.
Can do as he wishes.
He is an asshole.
No.
He isn't. No, in my opinion,
he doesn't look at life like we do.
It doesn't matter.
That's not right.
He's an asshole.
That's not right. No,
I don't care if you think it's not right.
Afterlife.
Would you like to let me speak, or should I mute you?
Well, you're not letting me speak.
Let me finish my point. Here's why God's an asshole if he's real, which he's not, in my opinion.
Blasphemy, man.
At least not that type. Number one, all the people that showed up before Jesus left his books I guess sucks to be them. I guess sucks to be the cave people and the people in Egypt and all the other people that didn't have the benefit of being born after Jesus had created the religion or left the seeds to create the religion.
No,
I guess
the innocent go to heaven automatically.
Oh my God. You are brainwashed, my friend.
No, I'm not.
Only answer
all the abortions that you believe in, those babies.
I don't believe in abortion like it needs to be something we should do happily. I believe in going, that is sometimes a choice.
Well, how did Kamala's audience cheered the most for abortion? They cheered it like
they
demons.
cheered the right for a woman to have bodily autonomy.
Abortion as a contraception. No, to use abortion as contraception.
You are. Let me just tell you something, Mike. Open your mind a little bit. I don't care. I don't care if you believe in God or don't believe in God, but you are absolutely
chopping up babies in the womb is more demonic than letting them be born. Come on now. Come on.
Okay. It is a horrible thing that sometimes happens. You're not going to paint most people who are pro-choice as enjoying that process.
Right. You wouldn't want to do it yourself.
Of course I wouldn't want to do it. And I wouldn't want to have had it happen to me. But I will also tell you that maybe, but I doubt it, your argument would hold a little bit more water if instead of going, wait a minute, this is really bad that we're aborting the babies. Why not go, here's what we're going to do. If you don't want to have the baby, we are going to vote in someone that is going to tax people who make over $450,000 a year. And we're going to close the tax loopholes that allow a lot of these billionaires and very high ranking millionaires to get out of paying much of their fair share. And that money that we make is going to go towards adopting these kids into loving families. And if we can't find them, we are going to use tax dollars to build the most beautiful, wonderful orphanages all over the country. So abortion
here's how I feel.
Where is that? Where is that? You don't want to do that because it's not really about that for you.
It is about that.
Okay, then you agree we should basically raise taxes, especially on the
raise taxes for the rich? Yeah, I do believe that.
Okay, so why did you vote for Trump?
Because neither of them will raise taxes. They're both rich. They're both like
Kamala.
For the rich. Come on now. She did nothing. She did nothing to raise taxes for the rich.
She wasn't the president.
Okay.
What did Mike Pence do?
Different. But what I'm saying is, okay, here's the thing. She did not give a detail on how much she was going to tax people like average Americans. She said, "Oh, well, I'm just going to give you a tax break," but she didn't say how she's going to do it. She didn't say what.
I'll tell you what. I got to go, but I'll send you proof that she did, and you send me proof that the Bible is real.
Okay. My
guess is I'll be able to find a number of charts on the internet that show how Kamala Harris was going to deal with every tax bracket. What's that?
The Bible is a real thing.
In terms of referring to actual history is what I mean. All right, I got to run, Mike. I appreciate you having the guts to call in, but I think you need some meditation, and I think you should continue to be religious if that brings you calmness and peace. But I really think, it wouldn't do you a bad thing to go, let me sit for a minute and go, maybe my mind needs to open up a little bit more. Maybe if there is a God,
you insult too much.
I'm not. I think you're a moron if you believe this.
You insult my intelligence. Yes, you do.
You don't have any intelligence. If
that's
what you have
reflected, that's your problem.
I don't have a problem. If what you are saying,
that's not very open-minded of you.
I don't care. Look, if you can change my opinion,
that's the problem with the liberal side.
It's not. Sure. I can't speak to the liberal side. What I can tell you is if you can change my view and make me a believer in the Jesus or the Yahweh.
That's not for me to do. It's for you.
I'm not asking you to do it. What I'm saying is if you can do it, my mind is open. I don't have to be correct. I'm okay going,
your mind hasn't really been open.
My mind is open all the fucking time. I'm happy to be wrong about things, but you've got to be able to bring it and express it in a way that's not like, well, the Bible said it is.
Humans created, and we also create. You ever think about that? How we're created in God's image, and yet
no,
we
I
also
don't think we're created in God's image. I think that's a thing that you say because it's in the Bible, but you can't claim that's true. It might be true, but we don't know that.
We're awful different than everything around us. That's for sure.
We're not that different. We share 99% of our DNA with the vast majority of mammals on the planet.
No.
What? No, that's not true.
No.
How much
we're the closest is a monkey.
do we
the closest is the monkey.
Share with?
I think monkey. I think we're like.
Well, I'll tell you with other species. Here you go. Okay. Humans share a significant amount of DNA with other species, most notably, yes, monkeys, 98%. But 98%. As a result, we share roughly 90% of DNA with mice, dogs, cattle, and elephants. Coming closer to home, the DNA of humans and chimps is 98%.
Yeah.
Okay, so suddenly that fact is not acceptable.
No, because
you just said we're different.
Of the same material. It's just that we are.
Boy, I'll tell you what.
We are created.
Mike Warrior. Open that
mind.
mind.
Consciously, we are way different. And
we possibly doesn't mean we're better or smarter, but yeah, we may be way different. We don't know.
We do look way different too, to the eye.
Right, and they look way different than us. What does that mean? So what?
I'm just saying, there's nothing else like us. That's what I'm saying. We're conscious. Nothing else is conscious like we are.
Come on, man. Come on. Get some reading in there. Read some books.
Okay, baby. Tell me what other creature is conscious like we are.
Conscious like we are. We don't have the science to know that, but what we do have the science to know, if you've read about this and watched talks on it, and I have because I find it fascinating, is more and more science is starting to recognize that obviously the things like whales and dolphins that have complex languages, but even small like insects perhaps are quite sentient. And the thing that makes it hard for us is like that movie Arrival or The Arrival or whatever, is the way they communicate and the way they perceive consciousness.
Science like we do. No, that's not.
You have to be able to get out of your own head. And you have to recognize that your perception of reality. Let me finish. I'm going to mute you for a second. I'm going to mute you for a second so I can say this. Your perception of reality and your perception of consciousness, you are making this assumption that is top of the food chain, that is top of the mountain, and that's what everyone aspires to. And what I'm saying is, science is saying, look, these animals don't just communicate; they have sentience and awareness of themselves, but their take on consciousness. We don't have a monopoly on what consciousness is. So yes, we may be the only species that perceives consciousness like we do, but that doesn't mean the way a sperm whale perceives it or a dog perceives it is any better, worse, less, or more. It's just different. There's my answer. Zank, thank you for the super chat. He says, ask him why God is the biggest serial killer of all time, something around 25 million. I don't think he's going to answer that for you.
I'll answer it. Okay. God doesn't look at life like we do. He's the creator. Why would he look at us the same way we look at it? That's silly.
That's another reason he's an asshole. But sure,
no, it's not. Because you're a creator and you've destroyed things that you created before and you made no mind to it. What if that was living and you didn't realize it? But what I'm saying
that's why I said maybe everything's consciousness. Maybe I do realize it. And more importantly, if I realize it,
here's the thing, you don't know.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me, is God all powerful?
He's all knowing. No, he's all knowing.
So, he realizes
he can't make a circle a square.
So he realizes
a circle.
But he realizes it.
There's mathematics involved.
I understand. So what you're saying is God realizes that when he kills his creations, there is suffering. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's an asshole.
No, there's suffering in all nature.
Yeah, but he could stop it. Why? What's the value of it?
What's the value of it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean.
He's God. He can do anything.
What cursed us all?
Yeah, but he's God. Just fix it. You made people bad. You made people shitty, God. If you did original sin, make it so we don't do that.
No, that's having free will, making a choice.
Well, so I'm making a choice to call him an asshole for that decision. It's a stupid executive decision.
That's just blasphemy.
Listen to who gives a shit? I need something to be happy. That's Ludo. He says, Old Testament says that no one can die for your sins. Opposite to the New Testament, which says Jesus died for our sins. Big contradiction. There's contradictions all over.
Jesus came after the Old Testament, so
yeah, but he's saying there's a contradiction between both of those.
It's not really a contradiction. No, it's not.
I don't think
Jesus came after.
Well, it's a contradiction in that the religions are the Old Testament is contradicting the New Testament, is what he's saying.
Well, I mean, basically, Jesus came to die for our sins, so it was after the fact.
Why?
So
Why would he
can't be
need to do that?
contradiction.
He's God. Why create this whole rigmarole of I need you to go down there to die for your sins? Why not just go?
It's teaching a sacrifice.
Why not
That's
just put it in our brains,
It's
like
teaching.
Neo,
It's
who
teaching
knows
a
kung fu?
sacrificing of yourself. When you
But why do I need? Why do I need all that? You're
for your friend, you
God.
might
That would be like me
sacrifice
programming. Let's listen for a minute. Think about this. I make a video game. I want Kratos in the video game to be a badass motherfucker. Okay.
Right.
I'm the creator. I can do anything, or at least the programmers can if I can convince them. So let's say I go to the programmer and I say, I want you to put in these animations Corey did where Kratos is a badass motherfucker. And let me finish. And the programmer says to me, well, I don't want to do that. I want him to be a badass motherfucker too, but let's just put some AI in and hope that he arrives at that conclusion on his own. Why would I do that? If I'm the creator, don't I want what I want?
Yeah, but he wants us to do what we want. And we prove ourselves to him. That's
why do we need to prove ourselves to him? He created us, didn't he? Hey, you made us, bitch.
It's your own soul, your own free will. It's up to you, you know?
That's a stupid little dumb test. What a dork.
Why? Life is all a test.
What's the
Life
point?
is a test of many things.
That's
on how
stupid.
How you treat your friends, how you treat your
I treat my friends great. I treat the world great. And I don't need God. I don't need to do it because there's a test waiting at the end.
We're not all robots. That's the thing.
Well, we probably are all robots. But that said, though,
I don't believe we are.
I don't care if you believe we are. I don't know and you don't know. That's why we're all.
Well, I know for a fact we're not robots because I bleed blood.
We may be biological robots. We may be biological. To God, we're probably robots. To him, the sinew and meat and all the bones that if you believe he made us, he used, those are his tools. Those are his gear.
If we're all robots, we'd be doing exactly the same things as everybody else. And we'd be just like...
To him, maybe we are. To a creator, maybe we are because they can perceive it that way.
There's differences.
Listen, all I'm telling you, man, is I don't know. I think the best thing anybody on this planet can say as a human about this very fascinating topic, and I do appreciate you calling in, is we don't know. And
all I'm saying, David,
let me finish.
There is immaculate design here. There is.
But you don't know that. You think that. And here's what I'm going to mute you. I'm muting you for the sake of the show. It's not that I don't want you to speak, but it's how this works. Is I want them to hear me, then I'll let you respond. You think that, you feel that, and that part of it I respect. What I don't respect is where you say, I know that, and I know that enough that I want to. First off, there's two tragedies to that. One is that a lot of people like you will try to push what you think you know on other people that don't feel the same. The other tragedy is that your mind is closed, and we all lose the benefit of a passionate mind because you're unwilling to step back and say, I feel this, I believe this, but I don't really know. And in having the ability to say that you don't really know, just like I don't, just like Muslim folks and Jewish folks and agnostics and atheists, no one fucking knows what's going on. We are all in a position to help all of us and go, let's try to figure it out together. Okay, you get the last word, then I'm going to go pick up some groceries. Go.
All right. I'm just going to say this. I say this just to show you how I feel it and how I know it for myself.
There's two different things. I don't care how you feel it. Tell me how you know it.
Know it. You don't have to know it and feel it. It's up to you. That's what your.
It's not up to you if you know it. You know it or you don't. You can't choose to know something.
Right. Well, when it comes to faith, it is. There really is a choice. I mean, you either choose to believe what you see and what you feel, or you choose not to. Period.
Okay, I don't believe you, but keep going.
All right. I'll believe in history, and I'll believe in all those hundreds and hundreds of people who wrote all those manuscripts. I mean, there's over 5,200 or something like that.
Why will you believe in them, but not all the scientists that say there's no evidence of a creator?
Right. Okay. But science has not been able to disprove God either.
Science hasn't been able to not disprove a lot of things, but like people say, you
right.
can't prove a
Just
negative.
like we haven't proved. We believe there's black holes, but we don't really.
Right.
prove.
Scientists will tell you that. Mathematically, we think black holes are a certainty, but they're open to the fact that they may not be.
Right. It's. I'll believe what history has shown, and to me,
history's shown a lot of things that have been wrong.
Yeah, but when it comes to so many people writing about the same thing, and there's no contradictions in those sayings.
So all those
different
people are
point of
right,
views.
but what
There's
about the
different point of
people?
views.
What about the Celts? What about the Jews? What about the Hindus? What about the Muslims? All those people, of which there probably are more collectively than these people you're talking about, they were just wrong.
Well, Christianity's older than all those beliefs anyways.
No, it's not. No, it is
yes, it
not.
is.
Judaism
Yes,
is
it is.
older than Christianity.
No.
Dude, Jesus was Jewish, you moron. The Old Testament is the Jewish Bible, basically.
It's not just
Hinduism came before.
No.
What do you mean no? Are you a troll or are you out of your mind? What do you honestly think Judaism is a new religion compared to Christianity? What do you think the Last Supper was? It was Passover. What do you think the word Passover means? It was so the spirit of the angel of death would pass over the homes of the Jews. Are you not aware the Last Supper was the Passover dinner? Dude, read.
No.
Why not?
Christianity is basically the belief in God. Okay, and if
Dude,
God,
you are a good troll. I thought we had a good troll in P Turtle. You, my friend, have taken the mantle from P Turtle.
No.
I'm impressed.
No, God came
You can
first.
have it. You can have it.
Okay, God came first. Period. And
it's not what I'm
that's what
talking about.
Christianity
I'm
is.
saying to you that Judaism is older, Hinduism is older, and you're saying it's not?
You might maybe believing in the sun god is older. I'm not talking
Yes,
about
believing in the sun
God
god is older.
Yeah, I'm just saying God is the.
That's not what you're just saying. You just said to me Christianity came
is
before these
belief in God.
religions.
Is God.
No,
Yes.
that's not what you're, this is the problem when you offer up to me historical fact and you don't literally know what the order of the religions are.
I didn't say that.
Ask
that
yourself
the writings
why?
after Jesus is older than anything. No, I did not say that.
I can rewind it back where you said Judaism
I
came
didn't say
after.
Jesus. No, I did not say Jesus.
Judaism is older than Christianity.
I'm talking about Christianity is in the belief in one singular God.
Okay, well, Judaism predates that. Judaism was the first religion we know of that was monotheistic, which means the belief in one God. That was before Christianity. That's why Moses comes down and gets pissed because they're all doing a sexy dance to a bull and going, you can't fucking have any other God except the Lord our God.
Right.
So that's not Christianity. That
was paganism that they were believing in.
What?
That was paganism.
It doesn't matter. The point is it was not monotheistic.
A false idol.
And it was not monotheistic. I'm the Lord our God, your God. You shall have no other gods before me. So where's your history? That's why I don't trust your history, because you don't even know what you're talking about. I hate to say it. No, I don't. It's fun to say it, but I also hate to say it because, again, my mind is open. I want to believe in something. Why would I not? Why would I not want to believe that even though the idea that the Christians talk about as heaven sounds awful to me. But I'd love to know when I die, I get to reconcile and reconvene or whatever the word is with my parents and my friends who have gone before me, that I get to see my kids again when they eventually show up. I'd love it.
What about all the people who've died and came back and have seen basically the same things?
There are near-death experiences, some of which science
all relates to the same thing.
No, it doesn't, man.
Yes,
No, it doesn't. What I can tell you is science has been
getting
better.
Of anybody that said they came back and they saw like a 6-armed woman.
I have heard people who have. Well, you can't just say no, not no when I can pull up facts, but you can't. I can show you stories of people who have died on the table and come back, and they have the whole near-death experience. And in that, there are studies. There was a study done recently with cardiac arrest patients that basically died, but they were consenting to do the experiment to show that after what we call death, there was still brain activity. right? And maybe that means that is the near-death experience. Maybe that means there was some kind of pituitary gland release of DMT that takes our consciousness somewhere else. I can also show you stories of people who have died and they have been brought back to life, and they said there was nothing. There was no memory, right? There's a lot of
purgatory for all we know.
I understand. That's why I'm agnostic. I don't know, and you don't know. So let's just be okay not knowing.
Well,
And
you're
instead
not supposed
continue.
to know. That's what belief is about. You know that, right?
You saying I'm not supposed to know says who?
You're acting like you gotta see the miracles happen in front of your eyes to believe it.
I would need to see the miracles to happen in front of my eyes to believe it. Yes, I would need to see that.
I just look at that's sad.
I don't care if you think it's sad. I think the movie Terms of Endearment is sad. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just the way it is. You ever see Terms of Endearment? She says, I thought it would be so much easier. Remember that? All right, Mike, I got to let you go, baby. I'll see you. There goes Mike off into the night, fellas. See you, buddy. Let me get these super chats. Ludo says, Old Testament says no one can. Oh, I read that already. Okay. We got one in from another one from Ludo. Thank you, buddy. He says, but what if a wicked person turns away from all his sins that he has committed and keeps all my statutes and does what is just and right? He shall surely live. He shall not die. No need for Jesus' sacrifice. I mean, that's the thing. Thank you for the super chat, buddy. But there's just so much horseshit. And it's not that wanting to believe is horseshit. It's not that not knowing is horseshit. But you just let's be all, it would be like this. We crashed a plane in the wilderness and you've got two people. One guy or girl is over here saying, I don't know how we're going to get home, but look, you're good at medicine. You're good at entertainment. You're good at woodworking. Let's all try to figure it out together. And then you've got a guy over here going, I really believe that when we come to a certain cliff, my faith will allow me to fly off the cliff and bring us all to salvation where we will be rescued. Go with the guy or the girl who's like, I don't know if we're going to make it home, but here's what I think we're going to do. The more we can all be like, I don't know, the further we're going to get. That's important, I think. I got a headache and my groceries are waiting. Be well, be safe. Thanks for hanging out with me today and shooting the shit. I like streams like this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep this up on the channel. If I lose a bunch of followers who are like, this isn't all about video games, then I'll just put it on Twitter and leave it. And I won't do these as much, but I like sometimes getting off the beaten path and talking about whatever. Regardless though, be well, be safe. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you, new members. Thank you, super chats. Thank you, mods. And we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.